This is a remix. Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games. Rats off to you.
Oh, wow.
KZ, excellent.
Trouble with the trolley, eh?
And Mr. Feel.
I am Zinx!
Here on GigaBoots.
Bark, bark.
Oh, wow.
Nice job.
Yeah. We're live.
Well,
I'm not sure it was the best choice to watch that much Tom Goes to Mayor in preparation for tomorrow's game.
no, my brain hurts.
Tom Goes to Narrative. Yeah, Jefferton Alive took a couple decades to get out of my brain as a theme song. And unfortunately, it's back again. I don't know what if that was not the correct choice. Let me take a hard stance on this. That was not the correct choice. Also, for any of our viewers instead of listeners, yes, I'm Smooth Dan now. You're gonna have to get used to that.
It's unnerving to me right now.
That is just the situation as it is.
College Dan has arrived.
Hello. Yeah. So Tom Goes to Narrative came out. We didn't play it yet. We're doing that tomorrow, but it was just a moment of, oh shit, it shipped.
Yeah, I don't think anyone played it, so we're fine. It'll be the first time anyone sees the game on Earth.
Yes.
I feel like most frames in Tom Goes to Mayor of the mayor just being amazed at something will be how everyone feels watching that game play out. Troubling fact, apparently, the director came from Quantic Dream, so it is people literally from Detroit who've worked on this game we keep calling Tom Goes to Narrative, which is not the name at all. I'm so excited. I was like, I'm pretty interested in what this game's... The presentation style alone will get me through this, and then somebody told me that, and I'm like, oh my god, yes.
Yeah, now there's nothing to feel bad about. If there's no slight chance the story will make up for how horrible it looks,
right?
It'll just be also funny bad.
They have this stocky dude who's in every trailer, and he goes from like a concerned look to like this. He goes like, and every time he does, I laugh so hard because it's like that is straight up a Tom Goes to Mayor thing.
Yes.
For anyone trying to vote right now, that thing's not going to affect anything. that voting was already done. We announced these things in advance. Anyways.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, what's up?
We played video games.
Yeah.
Did everyone on the podcast play Multiverses?
I did not.
No, I did not.
I'm currently grinding out a drop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get a code, and I'm like, I'll just wait till the 26th. I don't give that much of a shit.
Yeah, that's fair. Weirdly enough, if you stream Multiverses, it gives anyone codes. You didn't need to get like an inside connection to do that. So the moment we had it, us streaming it did that.
Right, just watch an hour of anyone streaming it. You get it. It's kind of crazy.
Here's the scam. Maybe it's not smart enough. Maybe you could just enter your stream as Multiverses and give yourself the code. No, I'm pretty sure it's smarter than that.
Yeah. I like the fact that since we do this live and you did not update the information, I am using our podcast to get a drop.
Oh, that's great. Please enjoy the drops, everyone. Maybe I should leave it as that. I don't know. Is Twitch going to get mad?
They might. I'm not
they'd
sure.
probably get mad. I'd switch it.
Jeez. WB's going to come with a bat.
No, come on. I'm so close.
That's a real shame because frankly, Multiverses are pretty good.
Yeah, it's really neat.
I'm shocked. As someone who really loves Smash Bros and has tried a lot of other things like that are Smash Bros genre adjacent, this is the first one I've actually liked enough to play it more than one session. I did not like that Nick one. I really tried, but it doesn't feel right. There are no voices. The music wasn't the songs you would expect.
Yeah.
On a related note, the music in Multiverses is absolutely the worst.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. I watched some of you guys play, and I'm like, what are they doing?
I don't know.
Oh, my God.
I have no idea how they got it this wrong because they're like, here's the Steven Universe theme slowed down more on strings. And I'm like, that's cool. I'm doing a fight right now. Can I get something exciting? They're like, this is the most exciting song in this game. Are you not excited? I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, it seems crazy. I don't know how you even how this
I don't
mistake
know what's
happens.
wrong with them.
Like, it's so fucking obvious. It's a fucking party fun game.
A lot of like, there's something in a brain disease of a lot of like the people in management positions at like Western publishers who are like, music is gay. Our game will not have any.
Yeah, I thought that WB might be somewhat immune to that because they have like Mortal Kombat. Like they publish that.
Right.
You'd think that they'd have people to tell them, no, this is important.
That's Ed Boon. Ed Boon fucking carrying the studio on his back.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really tragic because they have really cool universes they're pulling from. You know, they got Adventure Time, Steven Universe, you got Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman. You've got all these characters, and Rain Dog.
Rain Dog sucks so bad.
Yeah, Rain Dog is
KZ, do you know what Rain Dog is? Do you know what
No.
Rain Dog is a character in Multiverses, and I spent a good few hours trying to be like, is it like an Adventure Time thing? Is Steven Universe get weird and get Rain Dog? This is an OC. They created an original
I
character.
knew that they made OCs. I did know that.
This is the only one.
This is the only one in the game. It's called Rain Dog. It's a reindeer dog. It's the Bane cat of fighting game characters.
It just makes me think of how Rivals of Aether is also like made by furries, clearly, and I'm like, is that just all Smash players? What's happening?
Yes, Bob, I've been sheltering you all these years.
At least Rivals of Aether characters have cool designs.
Yeah,
no, those are good designs. I don't think Rain Dog is.
No, he's just a dog.
Rain Dog does not feel like a design a furry made.
Yeah,
Rain Dog. It feels like, frankly, it feels kind of like somebody maybe looked at like League of Legends and was like, let's make something like that, but more cartoony.
Oh my God, maybe.
I feel nothing when I look at Rain Dog. I don't hate Rain Dog. It's just I would prefer to hate Rain Dog because it would be a feeling.
I hate Rain Dog.
I would rather have that basketball player from Space Jam 2 than Rain Dog.
LeBron. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that was in one of the
OC.
That was in one of the leaks, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I don't understand. Like, there's not a story mode. Why do you have an OC? Like with like Warriors All Stars, that Koei Tecmo thing where it's like there's Atelier characters and there's Muso characters and there's Neo guy, and it's like at least you need to suck them all into somewhere, and people would obviously already be there.
Right.
But this just feels like. Do you think that this is something that they canned?
I don't know.
But they already had him like plot this character plotted out and mostly ready for multiverses. Like they were going to be pushed by multiverses, and then they just canned whatever it was from.
Maybe it was a situation where they had this mechanic idea, because this is the only character with the mechanic of he's built around the two-player aspect of the game where he can drag his ally to him. I don't know if maybe they were like, we don't want to stick this on some popular character people want to play.
I don't know. I feel like they just wanted to have an identity for the game, and they thought the best way to do that was to have an original character, and then this one is the one that passed all the committees. Because that's what Rain Dog seems like to me. Like, once again, I don't hate Rain Dog. I think Rain Dog's a terrible design, though, because it makes me feel nothing.
Right, and that could be enough corporate influence to just make it a plain slate.
Right, it's basically like Stucco, the character. I have no feelings, and Feel hates it.
We got Popcorn Ceiling Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really love Popcorn Ceiling Dog. He's so good at baffling. He's baffling when you see him in the game and you go, "You're next to Superman. What are you doing here?" What are you doing here, Rain Dog? Sorry, Popcorn Ceiling Dog. But yeah, the game itself actually feels pretty good. It's got some interesting decisions. There's literally no way to grab. There's no block.
No.
You could do 2 midair dodges in midair per session, but there is a slight separation in how quickly you can do it. So getting back a lot of the time will be like a dodge or 2, and then you're upper to get back up or whatever. It's very interesting. The only thing that matters is that Shaggy's amazing, and Shibuya Gato agrees with me on this.
Yeah, Shaggy seems like just straight up the best character in the game.
100%. It's not even close.
Like, just playing him feels way better than anyone else. It's kind of weird.
I fucking hate Superman, though.
I need to unlock Superman.
He literally, I went tilt. I was just tilted by Superman in a way. Characters in fighting games generally don't do that to me. But Superman's fucked up. You die and you don't even feel like he did a cool thing to do it. Superman, you know that side B Ganondorf has where he'll grab you and then just dunk to the ground?
Uh-huh.
Now, okay, imagine he didn't have to die to do that. Imagine he did this move instead of going a short distance completely straight and plummeting like a rock. He could just fly really slowly for a while. And then he just grabs you and drags you to the edge of the map and goes lightly on your nose and kills you.
Yeah, it doesn't seem fair at all.
No, it doesn't. I was so fucking tilted by Superman. I'm like, how the fuck is it like this? There are no downsides, and he just keeps flying, and then he just lightly shoves you out of the map. It is so insane to deal with. I was mind blown. No one in Overwatch has been this confounding or anything. It's like they took The Last of Us 1 multiplayer and distilled it into one character. That was the level of just, I cannot believe how bullshit this is. But yeah, no, the characters are all really neat. They have super neat mechanics. They all have really different ideas of how you play them. Like, none of them feel really samey. I think the two most similar characters, weirdly enough, are probably Taz and Shaggy, just because they both have rather standard normals. And their moveset isn't outrageously gimmicky mechanic-y like a lot of people are.
Yes, even Taz, though, has weird mechanics around his, like, he needs to salt them before he can do a lot of damage.
Let me explain. To simplify Taz's mechanic, he believes in turkification, which is where you turn into a turkey. If he spices you enough and uses his moves enough, you turn into a turkey. And then you have to run around as a turkey for a set amount of time. That is a weird mechanic for Taz, but he doesn't have moves that necessarily hinge on really weird ideas.
Okay.
I mean, also, I think when you compare that to something more like, let's say, Finn, right? Mm-hmm. I actually have to call the correct name because I've been trapped conversationally into not calling him Jake the Finn or Dog the Human. So when you play
these people,
so when you play as Dog the Human,
yeah,
he has a mechanic where you beat currency out of your opponents, and if you get enough of it saved up, you can buy BMO.
Yeah, you can buy several different things. Like, there's shoes that make him run faster. I'm not sure what BMO does, but he's the most expensive thing you can buy.
He held BMO out at me like it was Toad and he was Princess Peach, and I was afraid to hit him.
Okay, all right. But yeah, there's lots of weird things going on. A lot of people have cooldowns for moves. Like Wonder Woman's Lasso of Truth is on a huge cooldown.
Yeah, that's true. The specials in this have cooldowns, and like even when they have like, say, batarangs or some other throwable items, sometimes they'll have up to 3. Velma, for example, her neutral is she has 3 words saved up, and then she yells at you on Twitter.
Yes.
Which is a homing attack, by the way. It will find you. Yeah, it's really interesting and actually really fun. They need to fix the music problem, because the weirdest part is not only is there all this bad music in it that's roughly based on the thing, right?
Mm-hmm. The Scooby-Doo one's super disappointing.
The Scooby-Doo one's terrible. The Batman one's kind of funny because it starts with one of the Batman movies themes and then moves to another for a moment. I think it's maybe the animated series, that first theme's pretty close.
Yeah.
And then it goes into Nolan, and you can tell because it just goes and I'm like, this is funny as shit. To go from that to this is really funny. That's a musical gap.
It's like they're scared of having more than one song.
I don't know.
Like, just have one that goes all Danny Elfman, just to make it super hardcore that. And they have a separate song that is just the silliness of the Batman Begins stuff.
So they have these songs that are clearly the original copyrighted songs to some extent, like covers them, whatever. And then they have a streamer mode, and you hit the streamer mode, and it just turns off all music.
Yes, because I guess they're just we might have licensed all of this. We don't know.
It's so terrible. What did you do? Like,
I don't know.
It's not licensed music.
Yeah, if it was, it'd be better.
Right. God, yeah.
Like
Yeah, like if you had a Gotham stage with the animated series theme song playing.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, if you really kicked it up and did like literally that exact song,
yeah.
then that would make sense. I don't understand, because there is a music slider, just to be clear, because someone out there may be hearing these words right now and entertaining. Well, then obviously it lacks a music volume slider. And it's like, no, it has that too. But yeah, I don't know. It's really confusing on the music front. Aside from that, I really enjoyed it. It's surprisingly easy to get groups working relatively. Like occasionally I have a glitch, but it's in beta right now. It was surprisingly sober, given that fact. And we did cross-platform play with
PC.
Shibuya, yeah, she was on Steam. And we're on PS5. Yeah, so it worked out all right. You just have to friend through the WB network if you're cross-platform, or if you're on each other's PlayStation list, you can just add like that, or Xbox. It was very funny running into an Xbox gamer, and they're like, here's this weird box and some vague controller shape, and I'm like, that controller looks like the Ouya. Am I fighting someone on the Ouya? You have to tell me if that's the case. But no, that's what they do for the other console, when you're on one or the other.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed my time with it so far. Shaggy, of course, goes Super Saiyan, as was covered long ago and hyped up insanely. He unlocks his abilities.
It's so funny.
Yeah. Someday they'll figure out a way for him to use his Bankai, and he'll be like, "Goo, Scooby Maru."
Yeah, we do need a Shaggy too, where he's got some sort of sandwich sword.
Yes.
On the matchmaking stuff, it's disappointing you can only do 2 people if you want to go get earn points. You have to do a team sort of thing. You can't even bring in
if you want to play with your friends,
yes,
you have to do it like that or make no points.
Yeah. Because there is the whole thing of daily missions complete and all that stuff. You just will not earn if you go play against your friends.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so prevalent in modern games with an online economy and matchmaking and stuff, and it sucks.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite part of this future. Because early on, online gaming is like, cool, I just grab some friends and then we play the game online.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, everything has to have that progression system in order to incentivize you to keep playing, or maybe it's free to play and that makes sense. And they go, well, we can't have you cheese that. And I'm like, but I'm still playing your fucking game.
Yeah, I still have to complete this many goals a day. What's it matter how I do it?
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm looking at the battle pass because I did in fact get it. One, Rain Dog looks horrible. You're right. I can't deal with this thing at all.
Yes.
The premium skin for Shaggy, Uncle Shagworthy.
Oh, he's good.
He's with the monocle and this outfit. All right, I forgot that cosmetics would be a thing here.
And he has completely different voice lines. It's amazing.
Yeah, Jake the dog turns into...
Oh, yeah, Jake the dog turns into Cake.
Yeah, so new voices and everything.
This is a big moment if you're into Adventure Time. I threw that out and I was like, oh, wait, shit. But yeah, Finn does not turn into...
Fiona.
Is that so? They're probably going to plan.
That would be too. Yeah, that would probably be too much of a hitbox change.
Yeah, they're
very different shapes.
They are very different shapes. So they can make her own character later, and I'm sure everyone would love that.
They could. Do you think we'll get Ice Queen or Ice King?
We need Ice King.
I assume Fiona will spawn Ice Queen.
You know why I need Ice King, Bob?
Yeah.
I need SpongeBob's voice actor in this.
Yes, Ice King is immaculate, best character in that show.
Yes. Yeah, no, this is the game's really good. I'm enjoying it so far. You get abilities kind of like in League of Legends where you level up and then you'll get attributes to add. So one of the things I unlocked is doing more damage in horizontal attacks. Once I hit 100 damage, I instantly go Super Saiyan, or I do 10% more damage. There are all sorts of things like this in it. It's pretty cool. They built these systems in a really interesting way. And you get these abilities per person as you level them up. But there is a way to train skills to get skills other characters get. So I put a skill on him for Shaggy to make his projectiles 20% faster, which is pretty significant. And you need to understand, Shaggy's Super Saiyan sandwich throw is amazing. It's the closest thing, I think, to a final smash in this game. It's fucking huge. It keeps hitting people, and it keeps going.
God.
So you just throw it out, and then you try to knock people into it, or you throw it into a crowd in free-for-all, and it just clears them out. And I'm like, wow, I'm winning. I earned this.
I was really disappointed when Wonder Woman's like armbands did not reflect it. They did stop it.
They stopped it, and that you should be appreciative of the fact that anything could stop this sandwich.
I just need more weird reflection properties because that's one of the things I have the most fun with in Smash Bros.
Yeah,
Like that's always a lot of fun. Just seeing the chaos that comes from. Yeah, no, that shouldn't go back.
And then two people reflect at each other.
This infinite Super Saiyan sandwich.
Yes. But to clarify a little bit, this does not feel as tight as the Smash Bros.
No.
It just doesn't. That's a level of polish that you get across one of the best developers in the world making a masterpiece.
Yeah, maybe it will slowly be more polished into being that.
It would be pretty cool.
But as a general trend, like, once again, like, I have to say it, like, Western developers do not value that as much as Japanese developers do.
Well, not only that, there's a skill set thing where there's a lot more training in Western developers for making a shooter feel good than there is for making a 2D perspective game with 3D graphics feel good.
That is true.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope Sub-Zero makes it in soon.
I need some kind of wildly out of place mature character that I can use to brutalize Steven Universe with. I don't even have anything against Steven Universe. I just think it would be really funny if they let me pick like Mad Max and put the shotgun in Steven's mouth.
Well, obviously you get Ryan Gosling from Drive. And then you can license that song and finally have one good song in the game. And then he just does the stomp on Steven. Yeah.
I'm also gonna need the Animaniacs. You own them. They should be a no-brainer.
Yes, obviously.
I'm gonna need Johnny Bravo. I think he was in Leak, so I feel pretty good about that one. And I'm gonna need Beetlejuice.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna need Beetlejuice, and he can turn into the big thing with like the carousel head.
That's his alt skin. Just like, what the fuck? But yeah.
There are a lot of characters coming because like the highest end pass you can buy gets you what 30 or 40 character tokens.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of characters at some point. I have no idea how quickly they roll these out.
So really, guys, the best value on this game is $100. So I'd like to thank our sponsor, WB Games.
I am considering getting the 30 or the 40 or $60 one just to have like a big supply of those character tokens, so I don't need to worry about it when something comes out.
Yeah, you don't have to sit there and try to save up because they put out a character and the price is too high, like you did with Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, they put Diva in the game, Bob, and you're like, but I spent the last of my money on this other thing,
right,
months ago, and I haven't played it since. Crap. Yeah, I don't know. It seems really good. I'm excited to see how it evolves, what characters they add, and everything else. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Again, I wish that did feel just that notch better. Like I wish everyone felt as good as Shaggy.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's super encouraging, and it's way better than some of the other Smash knockoffs we played. Like not over Nicktoon one, but there's that weird one that has Cypher Life Drifter in it.
Yeah,
I can't remember the name of that one, but that one felt bad.
Rumbleverse?
No, not Rumbleverse.
It wasn't
Rumbleverse is also bad.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of any of those.
Brawlhalla?
Yes, it was Brawlhalla.
Brawlhalla feels like the most direct comparison to this because that's also free to play and apparently has like more players than any other game on planet Earth. So I expect Multiverses to just suck all of that away instantly.
It could.
Yeah.
It could. Is this thing coming to Switch?
I don't know because it's already on
PlayStation, Xbox, and
PC.
PC. Yeah. I may have missed whether or not it was coming to.
It does not say Switch yet.
Maybe
so
Switch 2.
Maybe Switch 2.
Okay.
I feel like we're at the point where like Well, I know Nintendo fans. There will never be another Switch. It'll be a 15-year life cycle. Yes, sweetie. Yes, sweetie, go to bed.
The first console to last 10 more billion years.
But at some point, Nintendo has to be like, we literally can't. There's literally no way for them to downport shit like Genshin Impact and Multiverses to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That shit would be nice.
Yeah, Genshin was announced like years ago, and it never happened.
Yeah.
Because it can't.
Yeah, I know. Unity. I've never seen a Unity game even close to run well on that thing.
You would climb into the tree in Genshin Impact where you can see through the branches and something about it is wrong and fucks up the performance. And your Switch would just burst into flames.
Yeah, it would just uninstall. It would be like, I'm closing this. Goodbye.
There could not be leaves in the game. They just have to remove them.
I don't know what makes it happen, but if you climb into a tree even on PS5 and look out through the translucent leaves, 15 frames a second.
Yeah, I remember seeing that when it was the PS4 version running on the PS5 at launch.
Yeah, that's literally just they can't handle transparencies.
Yeah.
There's too many happening.
Modern game engines are babies when it comes to transparencies, and that tree had too many.
Yes.
It makes him damn scared. But yeah, did you have anything else you want to say about Multiverses?
Not really.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I enjoy playing Shaggy. It was fun doing multiplayer with Shibuya. If you guys want to check that out, that's over on the stream archive, GigaBoots stream archive.
WB pay Amazon so you can put in Homelander. I'm just saying. I need his victory animation where he grabs Steven Universe and melts his face with heat vision.
Important question here. Who owns the tick?
Ooh.
I
That
think
showed up on
Amazon
Amazon.
would probably
Yeah.
still
Yeah,
own it.
Amazon got that show.
Yeah, they got the
But maybe
show.
they don't own
but
it.
who
Maybe
owns
they
the
don't own
rights
it,
to
'cause
the
that was-
character? That would be really good.
Sony.
Yeah. Sony, get on here.
Make
You
the
get,
deal, Sony.
get Kratos and the tick on this game.
I
Do
do
it.
think
Don't
it
worry.
would. It would be really good to have like Sony first party characters show up, and they're like,
I feel like
I'm so excited,
we might
and then
get.
we get Aloy first, and I'm just like, what's wrong with you?
You know, by the way, Aloy in Genshin Impact still has not had an event and still has not unlocked her other shit. So I really wonder if
Yes.
just negotiations was 2 parts and fell through, or if it was like, no, delay the event for the launch of the game. And they were like, we have our own fucking schedule. We'll get to Aloy when we get to her.
Yeah, I do wonder what's up with that.
Yeah, I'm starting to think it's just never happening. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's done.
She's in the game. We did it. The contract fulfilled. But yeah, that was cool. You know what was cool? It was cool. I genuinely enjoyed my time with it.
Okay.
For 6 Worlds. Blinx the Time Sweeper. Blinx the Time Sweeper is a troubled game that has objective problems. But it's still enjoyable, and there are neat things about it. For people who don't know, Blinx the Time Sweeper, you go into each level, commit genocide, and then you may leave to leap yet again.
It's a lot like that old show.
Yes, but with more genocide.
Yeah, but
Only
only if you do
slightly.
it fast enough. Otherwise, do it again.
So, you have 10 minutes to genocide everyone. Everyone was worried about us playing this game. Everyone was warning us. They're like, no, don't go down that hole. We're like, I don't know. It'll be fine. We've
No,
gone
knowledge
through-
is important.
We've gone through terrible things.
Yeah.
And we're playing it for this first 6 worlds. We're really enjoying it. In fact, I think it was over 2 worlds straight, we beat every level on our first try.
Yeah.
Cool.
We stocked up the power-ups. Turns out, I spent the whole game being like, there's going to be a reason getting a level 3 sweeper will have been a mistake. No. No, you just get the level 3 sweeper, and then they're like, but this guy's tough. And I'm like, so I will shoot him a lot, and he will die. And then level 7 happens. Level 7 is the ice level. World 7, Stage 7, whatever they call it. It is terrible. It is objectively malicious Kuso game tier bullshit.
Yeah, I can't believe they did that. Didn't make any sense.
It has fake floors that only fall out when it's too late for you to do anything. It has insane specific things about it that don't work like any of the rest of the game. Because in the rest of the game, when a thing falls down, when a platform falls down, you rewind time and it rebuilds it and it stays rebuilt. In the Ice World, no. In the Ice World, it just falls. And then you rewind time and it stays up until rewind runs out. And then it falls back down. So you need to manage your rewinds for that world. You need to manage your pauses for that world because you have all these cool time powers. Otherwise, you're falling in holes or making a pixel perfect jump over the hole gap.
Mm-hmm.
And the slide physics are terrible. And you're dealing with all this stuff. And it's throwing enemies at you that take 11 hits.
Yeah.
And as I'm going through this, and I'm like, I was actually enjoying playing this objectively bad game until now. I was having fun with various elements of it. We were kicking the absolute shit out of it. And then we hit that world, and I think I had to try 2 of the 3 levels 3 times each. Mm-hmm. I think that's where it ended up. And so that's like, guys, the 10-minute limit is usually the limiter on you beating a level.
Right.
So when I say I tried 3 times each, that means each level I spent half an hour in. And then we beat that. And then I hand the controller back to Bob, a now shattered person, harmed by the fact this game was fun until that. And I give it to Bob, and then he gets to the magma level. And the magma level at least doesn't have false floors.
Yeah, but it was malicious and bad in some ways, but it wasn't nearly as bad as the ice level.
Yeah, it didn't have...
Like, I just stocked up on a bunch of pauses, and that got me through. I think I only had to retry 2 levels.
Yeah.
You know, it was only 1 retry.
Yeah, I think the 3rd level you did on your first try, I think.
Oh, yeah, I guess the final level of that,
barely. That was actually really close there.
Yeah, because they don't explain mechanics well, so we didn't know the record thing made it meet invincible.
Right. Somehow we missed that. Somebody alleged that earlier it said the recording is invincible. I don't remember that text popping up. We totally could have missed it. That was 9.5 hours ago.
Right?
Like,
God. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to claw through the post-traumatic stress disorder that this game was for me.
Yeah.
And I remember that level where you're going up a tower. It's like the fire one with the gears, and that bottom floor that just has damage everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just remember the feeling I had of like, it's been 40 minutes. I finally made it to the top, and I learned what they expect you to do to finish that part, to like get across that. I'm like, what? They're demons. These people are demons.
Yeah,
Yeah, the final 2 levels are malicious in a weird way.
The final 2 worlds.
Or that one ice level that my stream spent 3 hours on. Half me, half you. Because you came in to dig through that one specific ice level that's just like...
Yeah, that was me picking up the game from a cold start and going... KZ, why the fuck is there so much trash at the beginning of this level if I could only hold 5 things? What the fuck is with this game?
I don't know. I don't know what this game is. I just know that I hate it and I'm in hell. And everyone who is my co-host is even more pissed than me.
So what it turned out is, for people who don't know, there is a different shop in every world. Mm-hmm. And of the... Well, technically 8. Of the 8 different shops, one of them has a thing called Large Pack that lets you carry twice as much trash. We ran into difficulty, what was it, World 4, I think, is when we started really being like, okay, this is a problem, we need to get that.
Like that.
And that's when we immediately started one-shotting levels until, Ice World.
Yeah.
The thought that the rest of the game is even possible without that.
Yeah.
Like, I am flabbergasted, amazed.
I didn't watch the stream because that game genuinely fucks with me because that was a bad night.
Yeah.
I was feeling physically ill playing that.
I mean, your stream was 17 and a half hours. That's like...
I also basically ate nothing.
Right, yeah. No, that was not a good time. What was the question?
I wanted to know, how did you guys handle the ice boss? Because I think that's my most hated of those bosses in that game.
It's definitely the most broken of any boss in that game. If you stand in the center chunk, which, they have segments, like really obvious segments because there are lines. If you stand in the middle, he'll knock down the middle and then it'll be impossible.
Yeah, exactly. It just felt like toward the end, the way they want you to hit him feels so difficult.
Yeah.
And also, that song is 8 seconds long.
Oh, yeah, we fucking hate that song. Every song in that game's fine, but that boss music is dog shit.
Yeah, I don't know how they came to that conclusion.
Or for forever.
So
Yeah.
Bob and I go through this game thinking it's 7 worlds long. So I'm like, we're making good time. We might actually end, a couple hours before the how long to beat. It's 9. World 7 was in fact the ice level when shit started getting real.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, how is there still more game here?
So we beat all the levels and we get to the final boss, which is the boss rush of all types of bosses, all 4 of them. And then the super badass boss. That took us 2.5 hours. Just that one thing.
Yeah.
And after, I believe, 1.5, 2 hours of it, most of the time I spent there, I'd start doing a run, okay? I start doing a run and I go, okay, pause, restart. This is a bad run. And it doesn't show the intro cutscene at all, KZ. It doesn't show Blinx running up the chain.
I do remember that.
It just starts the first boss. So I pause it. And we actually had some speedrunners of Blinx show up in the chat in like the 8th world or something. And I go, guys, I just noticed it didn't show that cutscene. Does that mean every single one of these bosses I can hit restart and just start at that boss in the boss rush? And they go, yes.
Yeah, that's what I learned because I got to that, realized what it was. The 2 remaining co-hosts were alive at 5 a.m. when I'm doing the final boss of Blinx. They look ahead and go, oh no. As they realize what they expect you to do there.
Yeah.
And I did not know hitting retry restarted the entire thing. So a friend of mine only figured it out the next day. They should die. Because my idea was I need to survive all of that. Then I learned what the final boss is, and I'm like, these people should be in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it doesn't make any sense that they made this.
Like the boss rush doesn't make any sense. The restart function starting you at the beginning of the boss you were on in a boss rush makes 0 sense. All this stuff combined, and then you get to the final boss, which is the only boss I would legitimately describe as outright obtuse. And it's intentional. That was its own thing. It did not take as long as the rest of the boss rush. Fun fact, and I tried to fit this in, but then we got on a tangent. By the time I found that out, that was the winning run.
Right, so you didn't need to use the feature.
One time I restarted was the time I beat all 4 of those bosses, and I'm like, man, this final boss better be a pushover. And then the shop pops up. And I go, oh no. You're letting me restock before the final boss. This is going to be some shit. And it was. I restarted a lot at that guy.
Yeah, like literally all, because we're talking about it while I was doing my stream while you were doing yours. And I did not know the final boss is 4 phases. What are they doing? What were they cooking?
Yeah, the meth.
Yeah, like.
So
I fucking hate them so much.
So we're restarting a few times in that final boss. This whole time we've been doing predictions of, is this the run? Is this the run? Is this the run? Is this the run? And we did the will we do it on our first try for 2 worlds straight, and it paid off. So that got people cocky. They're like, yeah, anytime now he's gonna beat this. And I'm like, guys, what are you thinking? This ice boss is horseshit. Anyways, so we get to this final boss and I'm fighting them. And we get to the 4th phase and he's not taking any damage. And as I sit there holding one of my time powers, just considering, is he not gonna make an opening this time? Like, what am I supposed to do here? Is there a thing I'm looking for? By the way, this boss is horseshit. He'll freeze time, walk up and punch you, and there's nothing you can do. You should have not let him get to that point. That is the only winning strategy there. You needed to attack him and kill him before he could collect a pause. How does he collect a pause? Whenever he wants.
Yes, he just charges.
All the other things, theoretically, you can dodge. Like, he'll slow down time and you can do a jump over his punch or where his punch will be by the time you get high enough to dodge it. All these other things. Fast forward, etc. But then he does pause and he just punches you. And it's like, okay. It turns out that final form you need to use time powers on. And you need to use one of each time power. And as I sit here, sitting on the edge of, I'm going to run this run to the end without even trying to use the time power. Because if you use time powers before that, it just won't work. I'm running this run to the end just to be like, clearly it cannot be time powers. That has been illegal until now. I'm going to try to keep waiting for an opening. One of the speedrunners in chat, not the one who spent the most time there, the other one who showed up later when Blinx the Cat speedrunning Discord let everyone know we were beating this game for the first time. He goes, yeah, you hit him with time powers. And I'm just like, okay, now I have to spend the rest of my life wondering, would I have found out on the next run, or would it have been the next run when I finally gave up and just tried it anyway? And remember, if I didn't keep using restart, I would have to do the whole boss rush leading up to that again.
Mm-hmm. That's insane.
One of the things about Blinx, the time sweeper, that is inexplicable. The best way to win is through the economy. So you go back to stage 1, 2. You grind health, you grind pauses. And then before a boss, if they're a real dick kicker, you buy 10 spike balls, which do quad damage. And then you only need to hit most bosses 3 times.
Yeah, I remember that most of your boss fights, from what I saw, was just you trapping them in the frozen time while shooting spike balls at their dicks.
Yes. That is the game. We found out about the spike ball part of that, I think, after the ice boss.
I think we found out for the ice boss.
Okay.
I think that's when we went back and got it.
Okay. See, I couldn't remember if I beat the ice boss the first time with it, or if that was only a thing I got to enjoy, theoretically, for the boss rush. But fun fact, when you get to the boss rush, you bought those 10 spike balls, right? You beat the first boss, they take them all away. So now the thing I've been waiting for that I haven't intuited to anyone, I haven't implied it anywhere on any platform because I wanted to blow every listener and KZ's mind. Hey, KZ.
Yeah, hello.
Did you know there's a Platinum Hips version of this game that rebalances it entirely and fixes fucking everything, and Microsoft chose this version to put up?
So
No,
what
I
happens if you
I
put
did not
that
know.
what happens if you put that disc into the Series X?
It, presumably, because they always just download the ISO from the servers, it would just play the bad version of the
course.
game.
Yeah. It's really frustrating.
Let's go over all the differences. There's a giant spreadsheet. I won't actually go over all of them.
Yeah,
I read it and I lost my mind.
There are multiple per stage.
Right. Every stage has been rebalanced. The economy has been rebalanced. Firstly, the boss rush never takes away the spike balls. I lost it when I saw that as a change.
Yeah, because the spike balls would kill every boss. Basically.
Yes! In 3 hits, so you would get through the first 3 fucking bosses like it was nothing.
Yeah. Because you bring in 10, so that's...
Uh-huh. Right? And then you don't have to hit them with all 3. Just hit them with 2 spike balls and then hit them with normal stuff for the cake bosses.
Right?
Which is actually what I was trying to do, and then it took them all away anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, every cosmetic outfit in the version we played costs like 10,000, 20,000 gold, 7,000 gold. They rebalanced it. It's 1,000, so you can buy it and get to see it ever.
Yeah.
Right? Various enemies who take 11 hits go down to 7. They remove the amount of enemies in a stage. Like, they take 1 or 2 out per level.
Yeah, there's so many levels that are made so much harder by random dudes just taking 11
hits
plus hits.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they just take all of those down.
This spreadsheet's enormous. It's huge. It just goes. And it's like, here's all these changes.
Yeah, it's like, wow, that's probably a good game now.
Yeah, I know.
It's weird.
It's because I genuinely enjoyed that game until World 7. Yeah, there in chat is the document if anyone wants to peruse that while we continue this. It's insane. It's so thorough. That is clearly a best version of that game, and Microsoft insanely put up the original.
Oh my fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Yep.
All they had to do was have
Come
a
on!
fucking clue, and they could have made both ours and Casey's experience so much better.
I think another really weird thing we should say about Blinx.
Yeah.
There's a cutscene at the beginning. There's a cutscene at the end. There is nothing in the middle. There's no story.
Yeah. Which kind of reminds me of Bland. Like, that game's so clearly Bland.
Yeah.
but I like it much more than a Balan.
Yeah,
until World 7.
Right, moving feels way better than Balan, even though you have weird jump mechanics and stuff. It has bizarre mechanics of you should avoid these power-up pickups. They're dangerous.
Oh yeah, this is the only game that will give you PTSD for power-ups. I've never played a game before where it's like, oh fuck, a power-up, don't move.
What does it mean?
Don't jump. Fun fact, the jump animation puts your foot too far forward and you will pick up something in front of you if you jump. Don't jump. You're not allowed. Walk away. Stand down, Blinx.
The only thing I can think of where in a game I see a power up and I go, oh fuck, is when you see the torch in Ghosts and Goblins.
Yes, that's fair. That's fair. Ghosts and Goblins absolutely fits. So that was Blinx. I enjoyed my time with it for the first 6 worlds, and I'm not shitting you, like listeners. I legit am going to get a Platinum Hits version of that game and just check it out because they have so radically rebalanced it.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see that.
I need to check that out.
Because right now my play order for the Blinx is play up to World 6 and play through that and then watch the ending on YouTube.
The ending's hilarious.
The ending is great.
That is a really great ending. Go ahead and say it here because how many people listening to this? We got like thousands of listeners. How many of them are going to be like, oh man, I got to go play through Blinx.
Don't spoil Blinx for me.
I'm not going to look up the ending on YouTube. I want to earn it.
I have a headache.
The ending of Blinx is he saves the princess and gives her a big old hug, but then he has to leave her world, even though they're going to open the world up to the rest. It's not explained why he needs to leave, but he leaves, and it's a moment. But then she writes him a letter, and she's like, by the way, I've been very careful to take care of your time powers. I'm going to use it for something very important. And she rewinds time to make Blinx come back to her and will not let go.
Yeah,
and I'm like, yeah!
She rewinds the credits. It's great.
It's so good! It is legit so good. It just plays the whole FNV backwards. And I'm like,
Codependency ending.
yes. It was a really good ending. I really appreciated it. I really didn't appreciate World 7. I legit think the good method here, Bob, is play the first 6 worlds and look up the ending because it's good. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I enjoyed my time with Blinx. So the platinum hit stuff was enough to deal with. That was enough to deal with during our stream. But then people started saying words that made me go, that can't be right. Blinx 2 has a lock-on. That's not the same game at all.
No.
Yes.
Because so many problems in that game come from Blinx will shoot whatever Blinx wants to shoot.
We at least 5 dozen times shot a wall. And we're like, Blinx, what are you doing? There's an enemy right in front of you. And he's like, I auto-locked onto the brick. You're like, why? There's nothing over there, Blinx. I'm holding forward. You're looking for it. I hit shoot. You said Wabbit season. You shot yourself.
Yes.
But Blinx 2, actually, because of all the things people have said, and the fact speedrunners maybe don't like it as much, might lead me to believe Blinx 2 could be a good game. And I do not know. So anyway, that's the stream goal right now. It's not on screen, but we started that on the Multiverse stream.
And Blinx 2 is not backwards compatible for some reason, right?
Right. So we have to bust out our Xbox.
Well, if we're gonna bust it out anyways, we might as well check out the Platinum Hits version.
All at once.
Oh,
Jesus.
Man, that really is the Japanese director's cut type of video game. They're like, here it is. The good one.
Blinx the Time Sweeper, parentheses, the Richard Donner cut.
I really didn't need to hear there was a Blinx the Time Sweeper final mix.
Right? Or, as some people might call it, mix.
Yeah.
Weird, my copy of Blinx the Time Sweeper just says key shippable on the back in giant font.
I fucking hate that.
QA approved.
We had anyone else play it.
I'm gonna hit this cat with a brick.
But yeah, no, that's the Blinx part of this podcast. Hey Bob,
Cool.
Did you play anything?
Oh, we also played Klonoa 2 on stream.
Oh, that's true. Wahoo. Klonoa 2 is amazing, and I'm really glad it is as good as I remembered it was.
Yeah, it takes all the stuff from 1 and just expands it in a way where it's like, why? I thought this would be in 1.
Yeah, well, not only that, because, I hadn't played through all of one back in the day. I played through 2 in one sitting, which was not normal for me for video games back then. 2 was amazing. And it has all these things of like, you grab this propeller thing and it just flies you up and you do all these abilities. And it's really cool. I love 2. The scope's so much bigger. There's so much polish. It looks amazing. I love the story. I love the characters. I love the designs. I love Klonoa 2. They could have sold me Klonoa 2 for $40, and I probably would have been like, here you go. Right. I guess this is the only way I'm getting it. That game rules.
I really like Klonoa 2. I also played it. It is very demoralizing sometimes.
Why is that?
Because the levels are very long.
That is true.
And then I will pick up one of the collectibles and see I missed the 5th one and just picked up the 6th one, and all my bones will turn to salt and I'll collapse dead on the floor.
And
I'll be like, okay, I'm not playing any more Klonoa 2 today. And
then Phil becomes the Riddler.
Literally, yes.
Understandable. Yeah, no, it is rough when you do that. I can't even remember getting what getting everything got me. I wanted everything.
Wasn't it that extra level?
Yeah, it might have been that.
Yeah, with the really challenging stuff.
Yeah, same. Well, lucky you. You bought it on PS5, right?
Yeah.
Well, Phil, do I have an opportunity for you?
It's one of those ones where you can also get the PS4 version.
Every PS5 game they coded wrong, so you get 2 platinums. I'm a sick fuck. I installed the PS4 version of Sonic Origins the other day.
God.
Good for you. I'm so happy you get those dings.
People like, Dan works so hard. I wish he had time off. And Bob's like, I see what he does in his time off. It's also work, but it does nothing. Yeah, I love Klonoa. They better make a new one.
They better.
I looked up the stats. This has sold 10 more billion copies. We need that new one.
I saw it Steam charting. People, the people that like Klonoa, enough of them have decent Twitter followings.
Yeah, it's all a question of what
going.
It's all a question of what Namco consider what their goal is.
Yeah,
because if they have a realistic one, I'm sure they've already hit it. If they don't have a realistic one, they probably never will.
Why isn't this selling as good as Call of Duty?
It's going to be funny. I would
thankfully. Namco actually doesn't seem to be that bad about that, because there was that phase during 7th Gen where Tales of games were selling like 300,000. They're like, okay, we're still localizing them. Go. Like, that's enough. That's enough for us.
I think this collection is going to be the best selling Klonoa thing ever by a lot.
It seems that way.
Yeah, probably.
This is the most I've ever heard people talk about Klonoa.
Which is great! Look, Klonoa was a game I played that I rented from Blockbuster by myself. No friends got to see it. No one ever talked about it. It was a nice, sad, heartfelt story, and I got to experience it, and that was personal. And then they never made another real one, like full-scale one.
Right.
And so I just had to deal with, well, that's just one of those amazing experiences we're just not going to get any more of. Goodbye. Bye, PS2 era. We're over here running at 20 frames per second listening to this guy say slurs because it's brilliant, I guess. Every 7th-gen game is haze until proven otherwise.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, that was a great time. Man, I'm smiling like an idiot because I really am so happy they made that collection. I never would have dreamed. Like, they did that Wii thing, and I was like, but that's the first one. I want the second one. Also, I don't own a Wii. And they're like, oh, well, that was a test and you failed. And I'm like, wait, what? I don't own a Wii.
Right. Man, it's also funny going from the Wii remake to the PS2 game. The PS2 game just looks better in basically every way.
Yes, but as I understand it, is the PS2 game spruced up.
Yeah.
I haven't gone back and booted a PS2 to look at it and eyeball it and be like, But that's what people
I know that that Wii remake sold like 15,000 copies. It was like dead.
Yeah, it was a third party game on the Wii, That doesn't work. It's sad, but it's true. Especially, like, I assume that was later. I don't even remember when this thing came out.
I think it was like 2008, so it was before everybody put their Wii into their closet.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the middle period.
Right, but it was third-party publishers basically got nothing after the first year.
Right,
I feel like the first year they probably did okay.
Because unlike the PS1 era or even the PS2 era, the Wii era, people did not, like for the Wii specifically, people did not trust third-party Wii games.
Yeah, there
large.
was so much shovelware immediately, and that just
lost all faith. Yeah,
lost all faith.
Which is weird because we've democratized the tools of like development enough that the digital stores have more trash than ever.
Yes.
But because that's the digital stores, we avoided the problem of losing faith. Yes, we might be implying that the Wii ruined everything here. I don't know. We'll have to see how voting goes tomorrow. But Bob,
yeah,
did you play anything else?
I played a little bit more of Little Noah. For people who don't remember, this is the Cygames roguelike that's a side scroller like Castlevania.
That's that game that stars the one character. What's the name of the character again?
Noah Little.
Thank you.
She doesn't know much.
God damn.
That game's structure is super strange because after only like, I don't know, maybe 5 runs, I can now run all the way to the end of the game consistently. Gets to the final boss, and the final boss kills me in like 5 hits.
Cool.
And like, that doesn't feel good. It takes me an hour to get here.
I had some game that I had that exact experience with, and I cannot remember what it was. But I was like, I can't commit to doing an hour and something in here.
Yeah, like there's no shortcuts or anything like other ones these implement to like get through the faster.
Yeah.
So it's literally just, it's going to take this long.
Yeah.
And I might be better equipped next time I show up.
Yeah, Point B's kind of like that feeling. But that has many false starts. Like the beginning of Lil Noah, or Noah Little, is easy, relatively.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a problem, unlike Point B, where it's just like, I'm stuck in the wrong world. I think largely the experience I'm thinking of is when you're playing Super Stardust HD correctly, your high score will only begin to matter when you've looped the game 1.5 times.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I remember you talking about that madness.
Let me just beat a whole ass video game, spend 20 more minutes than that, and then what I'm doing will matter. So, yeah, that was not great.
Yeah, so I don't know if I'll go back to it because it's kind of demoralizing. Like,
yeah,
I might get it the next run, or I might just have wasted another hour.
Yeah. No, that's understandable. Anything else?
No, that's it, actually. I didn't really
get a chance to play. Video games. Oh, I figure I'll put this here instead of news because this is more like personal and less like game industry news. If you recall 2, I think it was 2, it might have been 3 now. Big things back, I was talking about a new video scaler. I got video upscaler for retro video games. And I said it was a little unstable, a little glitchy, but the image quality is great. And for whatever reason, the audio wasn't working. And I entertained that the audio problem may have been my fault. 1.5, 2 weeks ago, I confirmed that is 100% my fault. You know what I love, Bob?
Yeah.
Products. I love buying a thing and it is its own thing and I don't need to assemble it because I'm dyslexic and bad with my hands.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's virtually completely symmetrical? The DE10 Nano FPGA.
Yes.
I may have fried the audio on the video upscaler.
At least it didn't fry the DE10. Because oh my god,
that's the concern.
Because that's like $300.
But the funny thing is, the ports are literally physically symmetrical, right? Literally, if you look at the DE10 Nano from above, it is exactly the same on left and right side.
Mm-hmm.
Physically. And wiring-wise, for one of them, it is also physically identical. And electrically identical. But one thing, which is specifically the thing the audio plugs into, is not electrically identical. So I fried a tiny chip on the scaler, and if I ever got into soldering, I could, in theory, replace that one chip. But I just told you what I did before soldering. That was just me plugging in shit.
Right.
No. But anyway. So I have another one on the way. We may use that for PS2 stuff, depending on what wins said month.
Mm-hmm.
That's very exciting because the video quality out of this thing is really nice. Like, it's markedly better.
All these things make me just think of, if I had more free time, I'd like to relearn how to solder, because I knew how to do it when I was like
12.
Yeah, 12 or 13, something like that.
Yeah.
But it's gone now.
Yeah. No, if it was just a getting good at doing it, that would be something. But I'm just terrible with my hands for really tiny things. That's complicated. Oh, and this will be a brief segment. Pokemon 5th Gen on Pokemon Days fucking rules. I love that gen. There's so many good designs. The story's great right out of the gate. I fucking love it. That was a great episode of Pokemon Days. It was definitely night and day difference from 4th Gen Remake Town.
Like literally the worst product they've released in Pokemon maybe ever.
It was like we got grounded for a whole gen. Yeah, 5th Gen rules. So good. So good. I love everything about it so far.
Yeah, the animation's amazing.
It's been really... Yeah, the animations are great.
The set of characters you have are pretty fun.
Yes.
Bianca doesn't know how to do anything.
Man, I'm really excited. Because Gen 5, you have such great friends. I'm excited for you to meet the friends in Gen 6.
Yeah, let's talk about Gen 6. I don't need that yet.
I hope that they patch in one of them brushing Bulbasaur's bulb was a brush.
That's my favorite Pokemon gif ever.
But yeah, you have really great characters in 5th Gen. You got Charon, who's basically Vegeta. Or Sharon. I'm not sure how you're supposed to say his name, and I never have been. And then you have your friend Bianca. You know, Bianca. She's right here. This is her. Bianca's.
Yep.
Bianca.
Yeah, that is her.
She's straight up the Keith Stack Brienne character. She walks around with the corn dog and her tongue sticking out of her mouth. Anyway, that's Bianca's great. I need somebody to draw our main character as Leslie and Bianca as Brienne because they're so perfect.
They are.
Anyway, yeah, 5th Gen rules. Somebody came in and they're like, man, this difficulty curve seems awfully weird, doesn't it? You have to grind. And I'm like, you must have missed the part on Pokemon Days. For the entire duration of the series where I go, that was surprisingly easy. Like, we're doing dipshit stuff and we're just... sweeping through each game.
Gen 5 definitely is the moment where I felt the experience curve be the most painful, which they obviously understood because they that's the gen where they put in metal slimes.
Yeah, they put in Audino. Yeah, straight up metal slime. And they have a way to specifically fight Audino instead of it being a percent of the thing that occurs in an area because as the
the shaky bushes.
Rustling bush. Yeah, I don't know. I am really enjoying it so far. We're about to get Suck and Throw next week, which I really love those fighting. Like, since Machop, those have been my favorite fighting type Pokemon. Because I really like their designs. They're like Bert and Ernie but buff.
They are that, which was never that appealing to me.
I love it. I also love Conkeldurr.
Yeah, Conkeldurr's great.
Conkeldurr.
That is the fighting type I choose this gen for sure.
Yes.
I'm thinking about fighting type Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I like Sword and Shield's Octopus. That's like also a fighting type.
Yes. Very cool.
I liked that. And Sun and Moon has a Crabrawler.
Yes, Crabrawler's very funny.
I like Crabrawler.
He is hilarious. He's just he's got the little head that like looks bruised.
Yeah, I know. He's got that. He's giving you the rock look all the time.
I really
took
like
it as a Stallone after his face was beat up in Rocky look.
Oh yeah, totally. That's what they're going for. Yeah.
I like Mian Xiao, who is a 5th gen.
Yeah, he's 5th gen too. Mian Xiao is great.
Yeah, there are a lot of good 5th gen designs.
I also really like Scrafty.
Yeah, Scrafty's amazing. I love Scrafty. Yeah. Choosing a team this gen is really hard. Even when they do stuff like...
I always have a hard time picking a team in Gen 5.
Because they give you so many options, and they give you the stuff you need ahead of the gym if you go and do a slight detour. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, there's the fighting Pokemon, and this gym's normal. Oh, what's going to happen? But, like, it's hard to choose between them, because they're all so incredible. It's the hard for 5th gen is the hardest for me ever, where it's just like I'm drowning in choices and I love them all. Like there are very few 5th gen Pokemon where like this one sucks. Unfortunately, stats wise, that cat sucks.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate because that cat's cool.
And Blitzel's cool, but you need to level him up more to get useful moves.
Yeah, it's like level 28 or something is the first time he gets a useful move. It's crazy.
Also, the music in 5th gen's amazing and dynamic. So when you start running, it adds extra layers to the song. Really good shit. Love 5th gen. We have to end our segment. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
Hey, KZ, what you been playing?
All right, I got a good few things to talk about. First up, I'm going to talk about the Stranger of Paradise DLC because I need to say words.
Oh, it's
about
out.
The stupid. Yes, the stupidest DLC I think released by anyone ever. I need to talk to Team Ninja out back at some point. So they put out a trailer for it, and it shows off. Oh, you can fight the Warrior of Light in this, and you're gonna fight Bahamut as well.
Mhm.
And there's new drops. There's a bunch of stuff going on in it. You open up this DLC, and they're like, "There's a mission over here. This is how you start it. You fight the Warrior of Light, and it is impossible to lose. If your health stops at 1, so you mulch it." And they're like, "For story reasons, this is not the right loop for Warrior of Light to be cool and Jad-like yet."
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Okay, Bahamut's gonna like help us out with this whole thing." And then the game says, "All right, we are going to make the dumbest piece of content in the world." When you beat Stranger of Paradise, they added a difficulty called Chaos Mode, where it's harder. And what you do is you go through missions, and they give you a currency called, I think it's like anima crystals. And you pay those to level up a mission so that you can make its gear score higher, so you can get better gear and keep going.
Okay.
They have designed this DLC to one-up this system.
Okay. How?
By adding a new difficulty called Bahamut Mode, where you get dragon treasure every time you beat one of these things. You can put restrictions on these levels, and you must use a currency to level up these missions you played before to make them harder, to make more gear that keeps going number up. And once you get enough dragon treasure, you will unlock little baby cutscenes. And eventually, you will unlock the DLC story content that is new.
Okay, so
I played 2 hours of this DLC, Dan. I have experienced basically nothing.
okay, so there are no new levels like from the get.
Yeah, from the get, there are no new levels. They just start with you fighting the Warrior of Light in Garland's like throne room, because you're doing the whole Jack Garland thing.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did on my stream was I set the item level to 30 above what I was, because if you beat it, eventually you can beat an enemy, it'll drop loot, and then you'll get around that range. I could not beat the first level of that game, so I lowered it so that I was now over 20 item levels above it. That fight against Garland that was in every single demo could one-shot me with 1 gram. I effectively gained nothing off 2 hours of playing that. I now learned the only way people had a good time was playing it in co-op.
Could you have
crunching it through that?
Could you have done any level you wanted to? I'm curious.
You can do any level you want to at the very least. You can pick which one you like. Because every single level has specific rewards attached to it as well to like break the limit of a class. So classes, once you beat the game, become unlimited in terms of their level. They can go up to 99. So you can find ways to like make those better. So this level gives you swordsman seals or shit like that.
Okay.
But it all comes down to grinding levels to get a currency that you can use that currency in Bahamut mode to unlock harder versions of this level that you must grind to get another currency to unlock the DLC story content.
There's literally a game journalist mode apparently that you can get the story content from.
Now, let me explain the game journalist mode, the worst written thing in the game. It is called extra mode. You activate this, and it puts Jack Garland in the mode he has toward the end of the game, where he just kind of like has souped up MP. It's really easy. They say you don't keep the dragon treasures you obtain in this mode, which in that text implies this mode is worthless for the DLC. I have come to learn you don't keep them because you also use the Dragon Treasure to get specialized super weapons, but they will count it towards story completion, a thing they don't imply in the text.
Oh,
Yep.
weird.
This seems really
Uh,
terribly thought out.
so-
It honestly
okay.
seems like something that was supposed to be in the game at launch, and they just shipped too early.
I am really confused. I was okay with Team Ninja's loot thing, the percentage shit. I'm like, I can get through it. I
Mhm.
despise this shit. They ruined that DLC because it's a Team Ninja DLC. It's going to be linear. So I'm going to have to crunch my way through it. I'm going to do it in co-op. They've ruined the solo experience for me on this. where
It's
I'm
really
like,
weird because this is nothing like any Neo DLC at all.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Yeah,
the-
it feels like this is just like they just let the person in charge of the gear shit go off their fucking medication for this game.
it's a mix of that and a mix of that specific chunk of Koei Tecmo that also worked on Dissidia being in charge of this.
It could even just be that they had no money. Literally
Yeah,
no
this
money.
This sounds
So
like
they-
a really low budget DLC
So
when
like-
it makes you just grind hours
But
and
it
hours
really,
to
but
get
it really confuses me because it feels like they're trying to flesh out that end game, but also they gave bosses new moves on this difficulty.
Well, that's cool.
So like they're doing additional stuff. Like Garland, I do not remember having thunder. He can just cast thunder
He does
in
not.
this fight now. He just has that type of cast. So they put work into it, but they've seemingly only catered to the most insane hardcore to a degree I've never seen before in my life. I likened it to if that KH3 DLC just made you play that entire game and not just the end game again for a story reason, and your reward was one fight.
Okay, so yet again, we're going to do the quicker version of this because I find this so incomprehensible, and I feel like some of the listeners might be there with me. There
I
is
know.
new content in this.
There is new content in
The
this.
way
There
you
is-
get to
yes.
it is by getting what?
Dragon Treasure from playing the new difficulty mode they have added to the game.
Okay, and you get that by just replaying past levels with
Yes.
ridiculous buffs on enemies to the point where Garland one-shot you in the first level.
Yes, basically what they want you to do is play old levels to get a currency to make those levels harder to get a second currency that will unlock story content.
This is bizarre.
Will there be new
Yes, it
levels
is.
in that story content?
Yeah, does that story
Yeah,
content...
it's my understanding that there is at least one, but the main thing is that there are these two really, really well put together bosses where you fight Bahamut and Warrior of Light, which has been in all the trailers.
I wonder
Also also additional classes and jobs. They added a bunch of that as well.
I wonder, like, because I've seen uniformly negative feedback to this DLC. So I do, and I do wonder what the other two will be like after, now that they've gone this crazy route.
Yeah,
I've seen literally nothing but bad reviews from this DLC.
This
Literally
sound-
nothing but.
This sounds like something that would be a free update.
Yes,
Yes.
that's all I can think about right now. Is
And
like this sounds like
I need to
post-launch
point
support.
out you
Yeah.
can't buy these DLC separately. There is only a season pass.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of
Oh.
a lot of people right now are hoping that this is them laying the groundwork, and the other ones are going to have levels and not get 50 Gilgamesh diamonds to be able to access
Yeah,
part 2 of this DLC.
I honestly think that's kind of likely because the game just looks and performs much better now because they've gotten to patch it a bunch. It very obviously just shipped 6 months early.
Yes, I finally like. I of course played the first level again to become nostalgic of when I played it in the beta and the second beta and the third beta and the demo and the game. I
Yeah.
once again got to enjoy the greatness that is the Chaos Shrine, and that looks insanely better. Where I was just like, this is like running good, and I do the crystal thing and the frame rate doesn't drop to 10, and I'm like, this is
It's not even the same game.
yeah, I know. It feels. I was like, did I remember this even looking that much worse? But
this
this is like working.
This is insane. It's like
But
at
yeah,
some
this
point
DL
you would have done
Yeah.
like at some level if they had just made this first DLC like post-launch support and then sold the two other DLCs for 30, that would look better on them.
Right? Like, you shouldn't
Yeah.
pay extra for this, it doesn't sound like.
Yeah, this is really just even the people I know that love this new content said, please do not do not pick this up until like we have an idea of what they're even cooking with part 2 and 3 of it. Because I came in incredibly excited. I thoroughly enjoyed the main game, and now it runs acceptably and looks acceptably. And and I couldn't enjoy the things. I have limited time. I do not have time to grind shit. I got the platinum, and somehow I feel like I was underdeveloped going into these. So I'm just going to wait for more DLC to come out and just get a group to co-op it. Because that seems what it's a bit more suited to, because it just really bummed me out in a real bad way. I don't know why they had to do it like this. This should have existed, but there should have been a path of, you're playing on normal mode, here are the 2 new levels.
Yeah.
I don't see the point in offering literally nothing for a casual audience. Like 0. But that was that. I spent 2 hours and failed to defeat the Chaos Shrine first level twice. That was my experience with that DLC.
Cool.
I wanted to get that out of the way. I played all 3 of the original Spyro games through the remaster, the Reignited trilogy.
Yeah.
Over this past like week or so. So I had no experience with Spyro aside from renting one of the PS2 games that I've come to understand is terrible. Enter the Dragonfly. I do not remember much of it, so coming into this fresh, I wanted to see how it would rank against Crash Bandicoot, which I have described as they had contempt for me while I was playing them. I wanted to find out if my theory that Insomniac was always good was correct. That was right. Spyro 1 was very pleasant. Incredibly basic, because, there's just statues that remain collectible of the dragons. You just run into them. They're just sometimes completely out in the open. But I like how it used 3D space. There were times where it's like, oh, if I glide and spin around this space, I can totally get over here. I think the developers behind that really understood how to make something interesting in 3D better than most people in that gen.
Yeah.
Then I got into Spyro 2, that's just a standard collectathon type game, and that was amazing. That was like a really solid sequel where it has interesting challenges it wants you to go for. It gave you a reason to collect the main like collectible Jiggy thing, where it actually gets used in the final boss.
Yeah.
Which also I think that final boss is really good. Like it has really good ideas in it, especially when it just transitions into like a sky arena toward the end.
I'm legit struggling to remember the final boss of Spyro 2, and we beat that game 2.5 years ago or something.
Right.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like the orbs that you collect that are your Jiggies, and once you get 3, you get a special power. And it's like you and Ripto racing to get 3 first so you can deal damage.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then he does it on top of a machine, and then you're just flying through the air doing it. I thought it was pretty good. The second boss is bad. They're like, this thing takes 10 hits. Also, it's attack seek. And it's a lot of waiting. But yeah, I really, really came out enjoying that. Then Spyro 3, which I like that they brought back the dragon-esque type of collectible where now it's eggs and it's baby dragons.
Yes.
And some of them are like in the area again, on top of some being goals. I liked all the characters. I didn't really have a problem with basically any of them that they make you play as. They all were serviceable. I like that the monkey is just Ratchet, only incredibly basic.
How did you like the skateboarding? I was surprised it didn't feel good, but it didn't feel as terrible as I assumed. Right? I assumed it would have been way worse.
You see, I was thinking about Crash 3's motorcycle, where I'm like, this is okay, but I really don't like grinding these levels. This worked. But then they're like, okay, do a run where you get all the things, but you can't bail once. And then I'm like, I don't have to do this. Because my chat up front, because I said it was okay, told me you only need 100 of the 150 collectibles. So I knew that there is wiggle room because they're sober over there. I liked the trick mode they made you do for a challenge, where it's like, you know, try and do all the flips and max out the score. That was pretty cake when I learned how they want you to jump off objects, which is to not press the button until you're off
Yeah.
until you jump off the ramp instead of right as you do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I enjoyed all the bosses. They were pretty cake, but they felt like they had like decent ideas and everything. The only thing I didn't really like was there were some bad objectives. Like one is you're flying in an area and you have to take out 2 dragons, and they're just like really long, like I guess like Shenlong style dragons.
I remember us
And-
doing that.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah, as you hit them, they start shrinking, so their hitbox effectively gets smaller, but
Mhm.
their health regenerates.
Yep.
And we just slummed it out for maybe 15 plus minutes on there because I died once, and they're like, "Do it all again."
Yep. Yep. I remember this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I liked 2 and 3 about the same because there are a couple of annoying things in 2 I didn't like, and there's a little bit in 3. But overall, I think they were both like solid. They understood kind of what I want out of a collectathon, which is a fun time, some cool level ideas.
Yeah.
I like some of the voice acting stuff going on. Some of those characters and yeah, that was just really delightful. I just came in not knowing anything about the series and came out as a fan of it. I really enjoyed like all 3 of those games. Insomniac really was good all the time, huh?
Yeah, well, you can
there's
confirm this for yourself by going back and playing Disruptor, their first-person shooter on the PS1.
Yeah, they had a slumming it up moment in the PS3 gen because everyone did. We got
Yeah.
we got Resistance 2, we got that EA game.
All the weird Ratchet spin-offs
All the
that
weird
were
Ratchet
spin-offs.
various, and then the last Ratchet game on the fucking PS3, which is just bad.
Yes.
Yeah, it's bad. It's
I'll
it's
give it
dog
to them
water.
'cause- Yeah, I'll give it to them because they make so many games,
Mm.
and there's a lot of core stuff that other people will miss on their attempts.
Yeah, it's like,
That I
but,
feel.
like the stretch for Insomniac. The only time I could be like, this is when they were bad, is literally from A Crack in Time until Marvel Spider-Man, because that's when you get.
Well, what about
Fuse.
Spyro? What about 2016 Ratchet?
Oh, that's true. They have that. And that is pretty good.
Yeah.
Even though everyone tried to convince me I would fucking hate it after playing all the others, and that was terrible.
Yeah, but it's
was
like
like, I don't know,
it's
it's
the story of one, the one that had
it's
the
a-
worst story.
In this one,
It's almost like
Ratchet's
a big
on
YouTuber made a
medication.
video about that.
Really?
People were parroting a little bit.
Oh, no.
But yeah, no, like I appreciate this alternate universe where Ratchet's on his medication.
Yeah.
But you still haven't watched that movie.
Oh yeah, we haven't. Jesus.
So,
Yeah.
so KZ, now that
Yeah.
you've beaten Spyro, you can also be pissed with me that we got Crash 4 and not Spyro 4.
I
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
Crash 4 pretends to be a good game for 80% and then becomes evil. Yeah, I really wish that.
And if you're a completionist, it just kicks your legs out from under you and puts a gun in your mouth.
Yeah, it's seriously just whittling away at my Achilles tendon.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
it feels so bad
Yeah.
to have it just every time. No, do it again.
Yeah, ideally we just get both.
Right.
But
Ideally, I would like both.
ideally. That would have been great just to get another Spyro where they can completely come up with ideas from scratch. I think it's really funny when people posted like the interviews and the quotes of the reason they ditched Spyro is because he does not have hands.
That's
They're
funny.
like, we've hit the limit on things we can let this dude do.
it's very tragic.
Yes. But yeah, all those were pretty consistent. A lot of people brought up like some technical issues the 3 had because Sanzaru is the one that developed that one for the trilogy. But it has been 4 years since this collection egg came out, so my experience was great. I now understand why bolts are so good, because gems are the precursor of good-ass collectible you get a bunch of.
Gems are better than bolts because I don't want to eat the bolts.
There's that moment.
The gems look like rock candy.
Is this how you
Okay.
rate every collectible? Whether or not you put it in your mouth? Because I don't know. The bolts might have that delicious metal flavor.
Yeah, they're very shiny.
I might want to put those in my mouth. I don't know.
I really like
The Omega platformer. You collect cigarettes, and then it just shows feel like the fucking spy.
God. The end when you beat Spyro 3, they do the best thing any one of these things could do, where they go, "You had to pay that dude to free people throughout the entire game,
Yes.
and you pay him 8,000 gems. So you just get to chase him and knock them out of his ass for like a minute straight to get all of them back.
Feels good.
And I'm like, this is like when you're in extra mode in Ratchet and Clank. It's just the entire screen is just this.
It's real good.
That was really, really sublime. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with all three of those. I looked back at my media thread and said the best score I gave a Crash game was a 7.5, and we matched that with Spyro 1. God, I love games where they don't hate me while I'm playing it, personally. So that was a great time.
I love the Spyro games. I also love Crash 3. Crash 4, I probably would have loved it if it didn't just push my OCD buttons in the worst way.
Yeah,
you
that's
probably
why
get
I
through it.
dropped
You're
it.
definitely a lot more skilled, so you probably have an easier time with that last stretch where they're just like, here's a nightmare.
It's like the
Yeah,
soundtrack is nails on a chalkboard. That's how it feels to play through Crash 4. Like,
Yeah, Crash 4. It's like if Devil May Cry 5. Imagine if Devil May Cry 5. 90% of the spread got you at like a D.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
you had to perform. You had to perform in the 10th. You had to perform in the top 3 percentile to even get an S on normal. Imagine how miserable playing Devil May Cry would be.
They're like, here you go, kid. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Is that a cute outfit? They're like, you aren't good enough for that. And I'm like, oh, why does this happen every level?
They really should have made Cloaca Man the first boss. Because Embryo. They should have made Embryo the first boss and unlocked that shit that gives you the alternate version of the level so you can much more easily get costumes.
Yes.
They should have done that in the first world, not the third?
Yeah, they do it in the third, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was a decent way in before we ended up hitting that on the stream. But yeah, I do enjoy Crash 3. I feel like that kind of like sobered up a little bit, and it stopped doing that thing that the old Crash games did where they tilt the camera and want you to jump diagonally with no shadow over a pit. Like that was insane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, yeah, that's all the games I played. That's me.
Okay.
We now go to Mr. Field. Mr. Field, what have you been playing?
I've been playing more Nirvana Initiative. I've finally gotten through the first big narrative chunk of the game because the game takes place 6 years ago and in the present. And I have finally caught up to the intro of the game, which is in the present. And then you flash back. I didn't have any trouble with the puzzle that KZ was brutally stymied by.
Yeah.
I did have a lot of trouble with the puzzle. Well, not a lot of trouble, but a little trouble with the puzzle right before that, which is evil. Where it's like, identify these classical music songs by listening to them. Know their name. Because the solution to the puzzle is in the name of the song that's playing. There is no other logic to the puzzle. You just have to know the name of this song by hearing it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the ones I just guessed my way into.
Just pull out your phone and be like, Siri, what's this song?
Yeah, because I knew one, because luckily there was only 3. But I knew one, and the other 2 I brute forced.
Mm-hmm.
Or chat told me.
Yeah, that one puzzle that I had issues with, it's like a 2-part puzzle because it comes back. And the one that came back gave me issues because I solved the first one by accident and did not know how they meant for me to solve it. So when they're like, here's a harder version, I went, I got nothing, dude.
Yeah, ruh-roh. There's a lot of really great stuff in Nirvana Initiative. I'm glad I'm past the part where the game spins its wheels for 5 hours.
Yeah,
there's definitely
the way.
Because no, it's not usually the way. This was very rough because, like, I get it. The whole point is the person in the past failed to solve this crime.
And you have to play that out for 5 hours?
Yeah.
No, that section of the game is 20 hours long.
Oh, no.
but there is a 5-hour chunk of that section where you are making no progress. You aren't
Yes.
getting a single scrap of new information. You're not fun. You're just like wandering around going,
I now understand what you meant. I thought you meant the times where it feels like it's a little bit slow in setup, because
No,
every single one of
mean
his
that-
games has a moment where I'm like, come on, can we get
I mean,
get there?
there is that Mermaid's Somnium, KZ, where I'm like, what did I learn from this?
Yes, you are correct. So you hit the next, like, you've
Yes,
played a little bit
I
of
got the
next arc.
explosion ending. I have not played any farther than that.
Okay, yeah, there. The next thing you get may have the most stilted, awful dialogue I've ever seen.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited.
of just, I'm writing this with brick hands. A lot of, as you know from the past. And
As
I'm
you
like,
know.
Can you massage this dialogue to make it feel like it's not written by an alien?
Can you stick this dialogue in my ears and just massage the ears?
Yes.
Having trouble ear swallowing those.
Mhm.
I also played some games on Game Pass.
Ooh.
I played a game called Disc Room. It is a Devolver Digital game. I couldn't explain the plot if you put a gun to my head. It seems to be, you are astronaut lady. You go to mysterious station where you die a lot and come back to life. And there's some kind of plot with magic orbs and your girlfriend, maybe.
Helios?
But basically you go into a room, a bunch of buzzsaws spawn. You have a top-down perspective. You can only move, and then as the game goes on, you get some abilities that should help you in evading these discs that want to destroy you. But most of them seem pretty useless. And I beat the game, so none of them seem very good. But I also didn't unlock some. There's also some I didn't unlock.
That reminds me a little bit of my experience with Portal 2, where they're like, these gels are going to be brilliant. I'm like, I'm going to cover every surface and you'll let me out eventually. And that is how that went. It actually went pretty fast.
Yeah.
But the discs spawn and the rooms give you conditions to move to the next room, like be killed by 5 different kinds of these discs all across the game, or survive for 10 seconds. Or survive for 120 seconds total across this area. Stuff like that. And some of the it's real short. It's like 90 minutes long. And obviously I wasn't playing it entirely. This is one of those games that 10 years ago just would have been a Flash game. And that's not a knock on it.
No.
Is this 2D or is it like a first-person game?
It's 2D. It's 2D.
Okay.
You're looking
yeah.
at them from
Okay.
above.
Okay,
You're looking
all right.
like you have a view of the whole room and you run around. And then some later areas have gimmicks like time only passes while you're in a circle in the middle of the room. Or time doesn't pass, the room is filled with these little seeds, and each seed you pick up is 1 second. Or the last area, which is the room is a 5x5 grid. Hitting every square on the grid is 10 seconds. And then it resets.
Mm-hmm.
This game would have been a lot better if they had meaningfully progressed mechanics. But since you can only have one ability at a time and none of the abilities feel very important, like one ability is, and all your abilities are on like a 1 second cooldown, or maybe a little bit longer. I didn't time it. You have the ones I unlocked anyway. You have a dash with iframes, but it's really short and it's unclear where the iframes are, so I never used it. A slow motion button that runs out that has a decent duration if you hold it down, but time doesn't pass, so it's limited in its usefulness. The ability to absorb a disc and then spit it back out, which I never found a use for. An ability to make a clone that controls uses all your inputs, and if you die, the clone carries on, and you can make as many as you want as long as it keeps recharging. Which was funny a couple times, but again, I can't, like, it becomes exponentially more difficult to dodge for each one, obviously, because now you're 2 things, now you're 3 things.
These all seem like they've been mechanics built around a room made for them. But you're saying
Yes.
they're not?
They're not.
That's weird.
You equip them in a menu and you can only use one at a time.
Okay.
And then the last one I got, and there was 2 more, I think, that I did not unlock. One was like charge up and do a big like aura blast that knocks all the discs away, but it like makes you move it at quarter speed as you charge it. So I'm like, I will never use this. But I had a decent amount of fun with it. I didn't have to pay $15 with it, which is how much they're charging for it. So that was good. I probably would have had a much less courteous viewpoint on it if I had paid $15 for it.
Yeah.
There's also some kind of post-game mode that I didn't even bother with because it was just CBT mode. The other Game Pass game I played is called A Garden Story. It is a top-down sprite art game about a really cutesy like garden world where you're a grape named Concord.
Oh yeah, we saw
yes.
this in one of those indie things
We
during
did.
E3,
And it looked pretty cool.
it did.
You're the grape. You had been living in the kindergarten because you were the youngest thing in the grove. But the rot has spread all over everything, so no new seedlings or whatever the hell they're called is being born. So they're like, well, you better move into the big boy town because normally you don't move into the big boy town until another thing is born, but there's no more. And then you do some stuff and you get made the guardian of Spring Grove. That's where the starting town is called. And then it falls into like a kind of Harvest Moon-y type loop where you run around and do requests for the townspeople and gather resources. And you can use the resources to upgrade your stuff. And there's seemingly other mechanics I haven't gotten to yet, so I'm not super far. You have like a stamina meter for all your stuff. Like running takes stamina, and swinging your weapon takes stamina. Stuff like that. It's segmented, so it's not like a Dark Souls stamina bar. It's segmented, so you start with 2 bars of stamina. So you have to wait a little bit after you swing your sword twice. And they lock off higher upgrade like materials because you need a stronger weapon to break them. It was really funny because I found like the heart pieces, and they're just things in bubbles on tree stumps. And when you break them, you don't get any kind of dialogue. Concord just wordlessly shoves them into his mouth and swallows.
That's awesome.
It's like I feel like I have more energy now, and you get another stamina bar, or I feel smarter, and you do have stats, and everything you do is building invisible meters. So if you put enough resources in like the communal resource blocks, it'll be like Concord has been learning about helping out, and you get like a little stat buff that's permanent. Or like Concord isn't as scared of the rot anymore after you kill a bunch of them, and you get a little stat boost.
No, not the rot.
Yes.
You also have equipment, but it's memories. So you sleep on your bed, and you can equip these different memories, like of things that happened or of people that you've met that give you stat boosts.
I was like, of his past lives or now?
So it seems really cute. I got to the first like thing that seemed like a dungeon, and then stopped. But I'm excited to play more of it. It seems really like charming and quaint, and it hits like the right level of gather resource meters for my brain. Like it slides in there at about the same level as like a good Harvest Moon, even if it's not quite the same because you're not growing anything.
So you're playing this game. You're on Game Pass?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how much it is normally?
I do not.
Okay. Understandable.
I will look right now.
I already have that problem with Stray because it's on PlayStation Plus Plus, but not PlayStation Plus 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 or PlayStation
It is
Plus.
$20 normally. And I
Okay.
think that's fair from what I've seen, because it has a lot of really gorgeous art.
Okay.
Do we
And
know
it
if it's on
doesn't feel like it
PlayStation?
has shallow mechanics.
I actually have no
I don't
idea.
know. It wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't. Yeah, it is not. It is on everything else, though. I don't know what Sony's problem is. They really need to go out. It just must be harder to publish on Sony for some reason.
Yeah, there's got to be something that's up. I have no idea what's up with that.
Or it's possibly
They
have
need
some
to
sort
get
of
their shit together.
exclusive, limited exclusive deal because they are on Game Pass on launch, and a lot of those that are Game Pass on launch are there for
it's
like.
also on Switch. It's also
Yeah,
on
but
Switch.
Microsoft might be writing their contracts where they just want you off of PlayStation.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll launch on Switch in a couple weeks because it came out August 11th last year. So maybe it will be like, okay, it's been a year. We can put it on. We can put it on Sony now. But I don't know. I think it's pretty neat. I'm having a good time with it. But that's all I've been playing.
Oh.
Oh, I got one more thing, Dan, because of your actions on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I let people know about the Platinum Hits Blinx thing. My co-host, Neff, who I think was in the entire 17-hour stream, just replied, "I'm going to kill myself in front of Bill Gates."
Oh no! He doesn't even work at the company anymore.
Whatever, sins of the father.
Yeah, okay, fair enough, I guess. Sins of the child, I guess. Something, let's get the dad.
Something. Fuck him.
Today's Podlords are going to be quirky and alphabetical, but please be excited.
For the Podlords! Oh, fuck the Podlords. Sorry about Patreon website updates.
Yeah, they got us this time. But that's okay. We're going to talk about the Podlords.
Thank you, Phil, for the suggestion on the music.
Yes, this music beautiful, and it very, very much fits it.
Patreon decided to be quirky.
Yep.
So we'll get them back with even more quirkiness. Yes, that's right! The Podlords!
Perfect.
Whee! Oh, shit. There's some part. It probably has.
Yes, that's right. The Podlords. Podlords such as 101 Shades of Wonderful Remastered, Anime Edgar Allan Poe and his raccoon friend, Behold Bellamy Benjamin Biscuits and his tiny grabbies. Bitless again, back to work grind.
Oh no.
Blig da Blue, Slig dis Poo, BN12. Bob once again reminding us that supporting them on Twitch helps more than YouTube ever has.
This is a mess. This is what's happening.
Bob, when did you get so buff? You're so wide now.
Yes.
You added 200 pounds of pure muscle.
Bubsy.
Dan would not stop calling him Bubsy. It was really messed up.
Oh, really? God.
His smile unsettles me. I put him in the same box as Bubsy.
When we realized he looks like the clock.
He does. Yeah, someone in chat pointed out he is modeled after the famous cat clock. And I'm like, oh, that excuses everything about his teeth and eyes. And okay, I get it now. Cuff egregious chalking Sasuke. He's so violent.
Stop
How could he?
chalking him.
Cooper Tank. Corey Brown. Krungle Spum. Look at these adorable critters. DFW3K. Drive Typecam. E. Lee Broyles. Emperor Zero. Eternal.
Oh no, what's that?
Figma Demifiend Nocturne and Raido Kuzunoha Devil Summoner Serotonin Edition. How I'm trying to have my beautiful wife carry me around. Wow, you're so tiny.
Right?
Goals.
Oh, look at you. Indigo Sykes. Jordan. Juica Frost. Kristen. Kyle Bjork. I'm going quickly to get us out of this song. Lane's World 25. Maddie Moe. Me and my level 70 pepper friends on our way to beat the shit out of a 2-story tall snake.
All right.
This is really good. Mizuki says she is running for president. Monster Hunter, Ryzen, and Raiden. No Bit, busy with work and the fucking DMV.
Oh.
That's unfortunate. Okay, so the Dankest Gundam is Gundam X Review. It has this motherfucker, the Dummel, and it's a fighting game with L inputs.
Thank you.
The dankest Gundam is actually the tall geese. Thank you.
Poke Mondays, finally on Gen 5, and we'll get to see my boy. Bob, what's the name of this Pokemon?
Dormammu.
We came to bargain.
I've come to bargain.
Rado.
Power of the creator.
Red Blaze 27. Sarlene. Shibuya Gato. Shinji 16 still wants to remind you that you matter, you are valid, and you deserve to be happy. Slowly morphing into a Neo Geo hipster with the Mister. Thanks, Dan, for bringing it to my attention. You know, that last transition was so good. Let's see it in slow-mo. One more. Okay, there we go. So, you are the big think dimension. Allow me to inform you on the simulation theory.
Do you have 20 minutes?
Skip cutscene.
there is literally a part of Nirvana Initiative where this bitch is like, do you want me to explain the Mandela effect to you? Warning, this will be the longest uninterrupted dialogue sequence in the game. Are you sure you want me to explain it?
That's a lot more polite than Kojima.
Honestly, yes.
Steam Deck play cat game. Switch no play cat game. Checkmate, Switch owners.
The price you have to pay to not interact with Linux.
The cost was so great, it cost everything. Support, please stay tuned. An animated YouTube show on Indiegogo. Suzushiro. The Raccoon of Light.
Ugh.
Ready to fight the upcoming chaos.
He does not fit in there well.
Oh no, that's great.
There's some
Garlic-
shine in you.
Garland knocks him down and it just turns out to be a series of raccoons puppeting the armor.
I wonder what the upcoming chaos could be. The ultimate black magic was the cloud NFTs that were minted along the way. Timothy Pfister. I just included this image because I like that boss.
Yeah, I love Noma. I love Nova.
He's so good. Uchikoshi is the only video game writer who will gaslight me, and I thank him for doing so.
It's so fucking funny. It's just like, we just the reason I'm doing this incredibly goofy thing it makes no sense for me to do is to trick you in the trailer.
Vine Snake.
Ooh.
He's so tall.
He is.
Put a suit on it. Well, technically, what if Klonoa was a lion and chainsawed Mickey Mouse in the face? Yes, that's the ticket. When I thought getting cucked by your alternate reality self, I thought it would have been Miles O'Brien, not Beavis. WTF Spider-Man and yo, what if it was purple?
Oh, that's pretty
Thank you
good.
very much to our pod lords.
Thank you, Pod Lords.
Thank you, Pod Lord.
Thanks to you, we survived the E rank.
And if you'd like to become a pod lord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcast. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to many benefits, such as early access to Chugging Bleach, our Bleach review podcast, wherein we review all of Bleach. Extended armchair dev pitches and gamer premonitions when those shows force us to leave ideas on the floor for dogs to eat. And a Patreon exclusive show, one per month, where you get to vote what good or bad thing we have to watch and then talk about. That's patreon.com/gbpodcast. And if you don't have any money, you can always help us by spreading the word or spreading word of the stream or hosting this stream on your channel or rating if you finish streaming while we're doing this. Patreon.com/gbpodcast.
Yeah, and if you have a spare botnet lying around, maybe pretend that people demand big thing dimension. Warner Brothers will kneel eventually.
Yeah.
I hear we got news.
Yep.
We have a little bit of news.
Yeah.
This week wasn't a ton of news, but the news sure was quirky.
It was.
I genuinely, it's like, usually it's like, it's an avalanche of terrible stuff that won't fucking stop. Or the occasional spikes. This week, though, very, very peculiar. Man, where do I even start? This happened right after Big Think last week. I'm going to cover it now. John Riccatello said, oopsie about ruining Unity. Just kidding. He actually apologized for what he said about game devs not keeping monetization in mind. And then he unpacked what he said, which was still shitty.
Of course.
So anyway.
Never use
didn't
Unity.
include selling out to the military or absorbing a malware distributor into your fucking game engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with what he's doing, ruining Unity. It had everything to do with, no, you didn't understand what I said. I'm sorry. Let me explain it for you. Terrible. Okay. Let's go to Feel. Feel.
Okie dokie. Final Fantasy X has sold 2.8 million copies. 20.8 million copies. Wow. With like close to 7 of those being post PS2 sales. It's almost like making your games available forever, consistently on the most modern platform, makes them sell more.
Yep.
Yeah. What a concept.
People buy stuff
Yep.
When they like
They
it.
do.
in famous series.
I understand.
Weird.
I understand if you're Ubisoft and every game you've made in the past decade has been the same game, you might need to not let people directly compare them.
Mm-hmm.
But as a general rule, letting people buy your thing will make them buy your thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Not many things are sports games.
Yeah, Ubisoft is one of the only companies that literally ships fungible games.
Yeah.
Which just like, most of these Far Cries are interchangeable. That you made enough of them where they feel kind of interchangeable. Assassin's Creed really got to that point, especially by the end.
Right.
Yeah, that's why they had to turn it into Witcher.
No.
Moving on, Romero Games, as in John Romero, blessed be his hair, is hiring for a new FPS. It is a new IP. It will use Unreal Engine 5,
Cool.
and they are working with a major publisher. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's either Embracer Group or 505.
Yeah, you got the money there. I
think it would be really funny because Romero hadn't made any, like, the last thing he made was like a mobile mob type game, I think, like a Mafia game. I think it would be funny if making Sigil 1 and Sigil 2 is being like, I need to make a fucking FPS again. I have the need.
He does, like, he was working on various random Doom stages for people.
WADs.
Yeah, WADs. And maybe
like
that got him back in the mood.
That's what Sigil 1 and Sigil 2 were. Like, he made, and I don't even know if Sigil 2 is out. Well, Sigil 1 was an episode, and then Sigil 2 is also supposed to be an episode in Doom 2 instead of Doom 1.
Yeah.
And I don't actually know if it's out yet. It is not out yet.
I'm going to put my money.
I'm excited.
I'm going to put my money on 505. Bob, which one do you think's doing it? Because I think feels right. It's one of those two fuckers.
It probably, like, because I feel like Activision, EA, other big players would not let him even announce that he's working with someone.
He does a fucking Sony game and we all shit our pants.
Man.
I would shit my pants.
Yeah, if you got a Sony game,
Look forward to that Game Awards.
I mean,
you're just going to hear multiple people defecate live.
He's one of the biggest players in gaming, like one of the most known creators.
Yes.
So I could totally see, he wants to do something. Sony backing him up on that.
really good.
He makes us... This was my true vision with Daikatana, and he blows all our asses out.
He will make me his bitch.
But yeah, probably, like, if it's one of the other two, I'd say it's Embracer, because I bet they have him working on one of the random IPs they have. No. This is new IP. Never mind.
So, yeah.
It could be anything.
And that's why I think it's a 505 joint. Embracer has so many IPs.
Right, and 505 is much more the guys who will just put out something new.
A lot of Kickstarter games.
Yeah, a lot of Kickstarter games. They aren't the ones putting out Dying Light and Dead Island? Are they separate now? I don't remember.
I think they did end up publishing a real game of that tier. I think it was Dying Light, but I don't know. Dying Light 2. I don't know.
Yeah.
It would be funny if it was Embracer, because I'm pretty sure Tim Willits works at Embracer.
Okay, then that would be very funny. Like, oh, I wonder how this happened.
Yeah, I'm also thinking 505. They'll get some good stuff sometimes, and then they'll get Beyond the Goblins, or whatever the hell that survival game was that I was unfortunate to have watched the show for.
You can play online with your friends or your enemies. Yeah, it was pretty fucking bad.
I hate this.
And moving on. Finally, let's go back in time to 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Baby Feel was 17, so not quite a baby. I don't know why I used the adjective baby. I had the Baby Feel had a DS and wanted to play online, but oh no, it was 2005. People didn't know what Wi-Fi was yet.
Yeah.
So luckily, Baby Feel bought the Nintendo Wi-Fi adapter USB thing you put into your computer, and it puts out a Wi-Fi signal
Oh yeah.
that the DS can use. Anyway, Nintendo has released a press release basically going, stop using this if for any reason you are. Because it has some unbelievably crippling security issue we just discovered.
Oh my god, that thing's still around.
No way. A USB device on a Wi-Fi protocol from 2005 might have security flaws.
Well, Phil, were you still using it?
Feel.
I find it... No, I'm not still using it. I find
Okay,
it
that's good.
incredibly unlikely anyone is, but it would be funny if somewhere there's just like, no, I don't need a Wi-Fi router.
I legit thought Feel's story was going to be so then I stumbled into a Whataburger, or then I went to McDonald's, because that's how my DS stories go. I end up at
Yes.
Whataburger or McDonald's to play Tetris Online or Mario Kart.
I think that Wi-Fi adapter was like $80. That was the gin when everybody busted your balls over Wi-Fi, like the fucking atrocious Microsoft should never be forgiven $100 Xbox Wi-Fi adapter.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sony's like, haha, it's built into our insanely fucking expensive system.
Yes.
And
like,
then
good
Microsoft
job.
was like, we don't need those features. Here's an extremely expensive piece of proprietary technology to equal each one of them, which they seem to be doing now with that patent with giving the Series S a disk drive.
Yeah, and also the NVMe drive you can shove into it is also a similar ilk. Man, the Microsoft stuff though, that the way they kept paring back the 360 to be like, get the price lower, get the price lower, get the price lower. It's like, this car doesn't need wheels.
Right? It's like, yeah.
It's like, no, I would really like a hard drive. And they're like, no, it's fine. You got the arcade version.
Yeah, so many parts of that are built around having a hard drive and having an internet connection.
Yeah.
And they trip those two things out.
That's not true. They have an Ethernet jack.
Hey, the arcade edition was great because the 7 times my 360 failed, I could just take the hard drive off and put it onto the arcade edition.
Cool.
It wasn't 7. It was actually only 3.
Well, he has a coworker that it was 7.
Yeah,
So I
The,
believed you when you said that.
I wonder. I really hope someday, and if you work at Microsoft and can get this information and leak it, please do. I want to know how many actual 360 owners there were.
Oh, that would
Because
be fantastic.
obviously this number of sales is not that.
Yeah, that gen was crazy.
Yeah.
That gen was so insane. It's weird because it was crazy and insane, but also like exciting. And all of the industry started taking medication as soon as Microsoft stripped the Kinect out of the Xbox One. Like everyone was medicated at that point. No one was doing anything weird. The weirdest anyone got from that point until now, the console owners, is when Microsoft was like, our console's the most consistently powerful. And everyone goes, what does that mean? And they're like, never mind, sorry.
It's out now. We don't need to bluff.
Yeah, no, and thank God.
There's no games coming out. You don't care, apparently.
Could you
We're selling
imagine
them.
Major Nelson was out here and he's like, on our console, you get 3 more frames a second in the 120 frames per second mode on Devil May Cry 5 with ray tracing on. And it's just like, you're a grown-ass man. This is the best thing you can do? This is your life? And he's like, yes. They banished me to the counting frames dimension. That would be insane. But yeah, everyone got medicated. Everything's kind of normal now. It's weird. I didn't realize that thing was $80 fucking. It had been so long since the fucking USB dongle for the Wi-Fi thing was.
It might have only been 60. I might be remembering, but it was exorbitantly expensive.
No, I think you're right because I just forgot entirely that there was like. I remembered it existed. I forgot it was so expensive that not a single person I knew got it.
Right.
Instead, we went to McDonald's.
Anyway, we got some other news. Let's go to KZ.
All right, first up, as we recorded this, we got the latest Nintendo Switch Online update.
Scrut
With game.
Is it real?
You know what? In a way, yes. We got one NES game and two SNES games. First off, for NES, Diva Story 6 Imperial of Nearsardia.
What?
It is now live for people. And for the Super Nintendo, you get Fighter's History and Kirby's Avalanche.
Okay. Kirby's Avalanche is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Especially compared to
Scrunt.
Yeah, there is no scrunt. I scrolled and saw someone saying Nintendo please and attached an image of Plock.
That'd be better.
I mean, literally, yes.
Yeah.
I don't understand, like, Nintendo is such a bizarre company where they just have the easiest method to get consistently good PR, and is like, here's shit nobody wants.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Japan got Kirby Star Stacker and Avalanche.
Avalanche is the golf game, right?
No.
No? Which one's
No,
Avalanche?
It's Puyo
That's like the
Puyo.
Puyo
Game
game
machine.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's fun when we check in, see what shovelware they have decided that we are deemed worthy for.
What was that first one again, KZ? The D1?
DAIVA Story 6, I believe. Diva.
Yeah, I know
Story
that
6 Imperial of Nasardia.
I know this is one of those really fucking archaic, like, crushingly difficult strategy games. And I know that there's 7 of them. They're all on different platforms, and they're all the same war from a different faction's perspective.
No way.
Weird.
It just like I looked at some of the footage of it, and it's like a dude floating in a side-scrolling like shooter.
Yeah, that's
the Famicom one was like a shooter, but the others were supposed to be some kind of fucking strategy game.
Yeah,
they barely show any footage of this. It's just an auto scroller with some weird mech dude shooting really. It looks terrible.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that does look awful.
Yeah. And by no means does it look like something I'd want.
It looks pretty scrunt.
Yep. I want to knock this out now because it's a bad piece of news.
Okay.
Come on. Persona 5 Royal is hitting all the platforms and is also, getting native PS5 version. There's no upgrade path for this on PS5. They want you to buy it again. This is the version that has all $4,000 of DLC. I wish they would have just had a free update path and tried to nickel and dime me on DLC.
Or just do the thing that Final Fantasy VII Remake did, where it's like you get the technical, like you get the 60 frames per second for free, but if you want all the DLC, you have to pay $70. Like I'd be fine with that.
Because now what we have is a scenario where my options are buy it at full price or just play it on Game Pass because it's launching on Game Pass.
They're also not going to have any transfer save pass, I bet.
No. Atlas doesn't know how to do that. They didn't even have that on Yakuza 7.
That's so insane.
Yeah.
I think they did have that on Xbox, but didn't have it on Sony.
Yeah, some people did that early on, I remember.
Right. I don't.
Yeah.
What a weird thing.
That's unfortunate.
I didn't even know there was that much DLC that they could even justify a full price.
They put a million. They gave everybody a million costumes.
There's a million costumes. There's ones that if you wear this costume, the battle theme is from whatever game this is referencing.
Oh, okay, that's cute.
Yeah, don't underestimate their ability to put DLC. Soul Hackers isn't even out yet, and apparently there's at least $100 of DLC already announced.
Man, Atlas is acting like they're gonna starve to death. They're like, fucking get excited to buy our DLC, fuckers. And we're like, we've only seen 2 trailers. Come back.
They're like, our DLC includes the penis. And I'm like, okay.
Fine, I'll pre-order your dick.
God damn it. I hope Ray Chase voices it again. Okay, this is my biggie of the week.
Uh-huh.
Ubisoft's Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, which, if you don't know, that's being developed by the Division team, Massive Entertainment.
So it's gonna feel like shit.
Yes, it is. It has been delayed. Originally was set to come out, I don't know, sometime before March 31st of next year. It has now been delayed to sometime before March 31st of 2024.
Wow.
Right. It's so far.
And Kotaku put out their...
Before you move on,
Okay, yeah.
Like a few weeks ago, I just had this vision. I was like,
I'm fishing.
Oh no!
and I was like, I remember an Avatar 360 box. I had to go look it up. I was like, yeah, they did release an Avatar game on the Xbox 360, also made by Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
James Cameron's Avatar the game.
Yes.
There's also a PSP version.
Yeah, it was like, oh my god.
I need to tap in on the PSP port.
What a nightmare. You can carry on now.
Okay, yeah, that's a nightmare. It seemed like, maybe they were going to try and get this thing out before that new movie that's coming out in December, and it turns out no.
Yeah.
They'll just readjust the story, so now it'll be between the second and third movie.
Oh, okay. You mean the 3rd and 4th? Are we going that far out? Are we
maybe.
Do
We'll
3 more
have
from
to
here?
see.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Ubisoft's on fire. I know we talk about that like every couple of weeks, but Kotaku put out some stuff saying they've delayed multiple unannounced projects. They have canceled multiple unannounced projects.
Yeah,
Skull and Bones is in fact not a real video game. Everything we saw in that thing recently is that's it. There's nothing else.
Yes, the reports were specifically there are no modes of gameplay that were not in that trailer. All the simulation elements are really, really, really shallow. This is coming from one of the developers, so it really seems like cut it and run, get it out, get it out, get it out.
Yeah, this looked almost identical to what we saw years ago, so I'm not surprised, but it's still
that 2017
just sad.
gameplay is basically the exact same thing that we already saw. Yeah, that's ridiculous. The CEO said they're cutting back on everything to the bare essentials. They have reports of pay freezes, savage cuts to raises, and hiring freezes. It's been bad. It's bad over there.
The bare essentials, obviously, Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yes. That's important.
When I
We
think
have to
Ubisoft,
ship whatever that
I
is.
think of Money Hole.
Yeah, God, this is
Well,
dire.
the CEO did say, basically, he said, unless another mega hit comes along soon, we're done.
Good Jesus Christ.
Like he dressed it up in CEO speak, but it really sounded like we need a Fortnite or an Apex or like
That's
another
all.
thing to be on the level of Assassin's Creed that we can churn out and drive into oblivion. And if we don't have any of those, oh boy.
Was it last episode that we had the conversation where I just went, I don't know if they put out anything after this year. Like, I don't know what they do.
Yeah,
And
I think that was
now
last
we
week.
got this. Yeah, where it's like they're gonna put out Skull and Bones, which oh god.
Yeah.
And literally the only thing that I think the last game they'll ever put out, through my own cynicism, through how badly they're handling these things, is going to be that Mario game that no one wants to touch because it's got the minions in it. Or I'm sorry, the rabbits, same thing.
It is the same thing.
You said that, I was like, didn't that come out? And
I'm gonna be honest, I too was like, oh shit, I thought that was like any day now.
yeah, I thought they did that trailer.
It's
I was
like
like,
next
it's out.
month, I think.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Nintendo will
Like-
make that ship, yeah.
Yeah, that seemingly will be the only like content complete video game they will ever put out for the rest of their history.
Somebody in chat was pointing out that is why we're hearing a lot of people from Ubisoft going to Haven, and I'm like, yeah. You're damn right.
I didn't put it in news, but did we talk about like Haven's like interviews and stuff in the past week?
We didn't talk about their interviews. We just talked about them getting acquired. What's up with the interviews?
basically they're doing all the work they did on Stadia for Sony. So they're doing a lot of stuff where they can do a lot of cloud technology and support stuff. It looks like they're making a game, but they're also developing as many tools as possible that Sony's main people can also use so that they can make the so the quadruple A Sony game can come out faster than every 5 years.
I can actually explain the tools. I looked into it.
Okay.
So you remember how one of the massive problems with Destiny is that a level designer would come in and change some of the level art, and then they would have to remake all the light maps?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
it
the
would
tools,
take hours.
yeah, the tools they're making at Haven that they have at Haven literally make it so you don't need to re-download every asset to work on the part you're working on. They just have almost instant versions of that segment of a thing, which will then go backwards to the cloud version, the server-based version.
Okay.
So that honestly seems like the way forward for how games are made nowadays. So I'm shocked that
Wow, cloud-based technology used on the development end where it makes sense. Whoa.
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 What a concept. Also, with a lot of people working from home, it makes even more sense now than ever. But
Yes.
this would have made sense 9 years ago with Destiny 1. So this is great. That's great news.
I forgot to put in the news, but Bruce Straley also started his own studio.
Shit, I did not know that. That's huge. For anyone who wonders, what I have to say this in a funny way that's acceptable to say on the internet at all.
Okay.
There might be a je ne sais quoi that's missing for The Last of Us Part 2 that is there in Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us 1. That would be Bruce Straley, who left after Uncharted 4. That's great. I've been following him on Twitter for years waiting for this moment. No shit.
Yeah, that was 11 hours ago.
Okay, cool. I was asleep, Bruce.
It's called Wildflower Interactive. It sounds like I need to reread some of this, but I'm pretty sure it's a smaller dev team, and basically the announcement message was all about there will be no crunch.
Great. I wonder why he left Naughty Dog. It's such a fucking mystery. That's
really
awesome.
Fun. It's really funny because I like the one Naughty Dog employee this week that went, my first non-crunch project, and it was The Last of Us remake. Where they're
dark.
like, it's like that's the way you get it to avoid crunch.
And now the Last of Us fans are already fucking screaming at that game.
Yeah, so
Because it turns out the project that was promised to be this exact same game but prettier is indeed the exact same game but slightly prettier.
But they reused some of the animations.
They did say that it was going to have gameplay enhancements, so I can understand people not seeing anything new.
I would bet money that it feels exactly like The Last of Us 2 to move and aim.
Yeah, so we had a leak for like footage and stuff of The Last of Us Part 1. So Sony just bit the bullet and put out a featurette today that is like
cool, yeah.
11 minutes long going into it. And they just show like in development like footage of like, here's how the AI works, and there's a bunch of like code on the screen and stuff of how they changed it and did a lot and put all the AI stuff from Last of Us 2 is just in there. Like their companion system, all of that type of stuff, the visual enhancements. But they also talked about extra content. The game's going to have a bunch of unlockable costumes that you'll be able to like change the outfits for people.
Joel's gonna get a Mario suit.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be pretty nice. They have a speedrun mode that like tracks your times and everything, like on the screen, a model viewer, photo modes, all the accessibility stuff. But it was mainly their pitch to get people to be interested in it. I have no interest at all for a $70 copy of The Last of Us. I own that.
I am glad they saw that it was leaking and tried to react.
Right.
Because I was buckling down for what I assumed was weeks straight of that shit being out there and Sony and Naughty Dog and everyone not talking about it.
Yeah, because it's just silly. It's like, that's not... It's obviously a no hype zone already.
Yeah.
You aren't going to lose some promotion by not having this in your next show.
Right.
Yeah, I sat here thinking, like every time this game comes up, I sit here thinking, is there any game released in the last 9 years that if somebody announced we're remaking it with the same level of fidelity it had originally, but like the modern standard of that?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of one.
Yeah.
Because it's so bizarre.
It's one of those things where if it were something on lesser hardware, like say a Switch game, and you got up to the current standard,
maybe I don't.
Maybe
or even lower,
but
like a Wii.
The Last of Us Remastered looked better than basically every other game on the market when it came out.
Yeah,
and and I'm sure this looks very good, I guess, but that's
Yeah, but it's like
what game? What game would I do this for? I can't even conceive of one.
it's a complete non-excitement zone.
Mm-hmm.
Since we're covering important news involving Naughty Dog, they tweeted this, and I laughed my ass off.
That is really good.
I really do appreciate actual developer.
Yeah, that's a game director on an unannounced
director
game.
of The Last of Us 2. The one time I got joy from seeing a stabbing.
The closest I could come up with for me would be Bloodborne, but they also made the game wrong the first time.
Right.
So it's not
Right.
the same. It's
God, yeah.
I literally can't look at it because of the fucked up frame pacing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's insane that Sony sits there and greenlight this, but somehow we don't have a Bloodborne thing, even though that's what trends weekly.
Yeah, that is clearly a much higher demanded product. Even I want Bloodborne perfected, right?
I will swallow paying a premium for a Bloodborne thing because I'm like, well, the
That is
frame rate's
made
gonna be
right.
good. Like you'll make the frame rate good and it'll look better,
It's
and
the
maybe you'll put a
frame
photo mode in or
pacing.
something.
Yeah, plus
Yeah,
like the content of a Bloodborne is a lot more replayable than the content of a Naughty Dog game. No, not trying to knock Naughty Dog or Naughty Dog fans, but I love Naughty Dog games the first time through, Last of Us 2 aside. I still find it difficult to play it more than once. It's just not.
Yeah, even after years.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to go back and do it again. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of downtime in those games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It becomes this thing of like, I would do encounter select maybe in like a Last of Us, because I know Last of Us 2 at the very least had that where you can just go to a gunfight.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that is appealing, but going through like their narrative cinematic style game more than once, it does.
Yeah,
There's got to be an abnormal amount of space between playthroughs.
You just think about it and you're like, I'm going to have to be young Nathan Drake in that library, climbing around trying to stay off the carpet again.
It is a shame how many of these, how they got so attached to like the section that's neat once.
Yes.
In your entire life.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I think of other stuff where we replay Resident Evils a ton, like basically all of them. I replayed Sekiro 4 times.
Yeah.
In a row. Like, it's, there's just an entirely different feel to games like that where the replay is a thought.
Yeah, I was thinking about flash in the pan moments in games where it's like replaying is a bit rough. I at least appreciate that one house in Resident Evil 8 I can knock out in like 7 or 8 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't go back to Resident Evil 7. There's a lot of front-loaded stuff they make you do in that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
bad.
Mm-hmm. There's this other piece of news that that apparently popped up today.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Ball: The Breakers is coming out October 14th.
That is, of course, the asymmetric multiplayer game, isn't it?
Yes, that's the Dead by Daylight thing where you are being pursued by either Frieza, Majin Buu, or Cell, and you got to run around and try to escape or something. They put out a Frieza trailer. They're doing a closed beta.
All right.
That's awesome.
It's such a weird idea. I'm surprised that we kind of didn't hear about it for months on end. And
yeah,
now
I would say it's been about 8 months since we heard about it, but that's my internal clock, which, as we know, we're in the future where time isn't real.
Yeah. I like the idea of it. Of just like, oh no, Frieza transformed. We have to get out. Yeah,
it's gonna be. I don't know if the game's gonna be good, but that game's gonna be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I hope it's battle royale scale of area you're running from them.
It's pretty
Dead by
big.
Daylight is like very small.
Pretty big.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
There is some footage out there of them doing technical tests where only Cell was available.
Yeah,
and it does look kind of scary when he's just coming.
Yeah, which is great. He's the perfect guy to do it with. He is the horror movie monster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna absorb Oolong and become perfect.
Finally.
Finally.
Then he gets his own movie. That's Oolong's true power.
Yes.
I love the Oolong movie. I got a couple more things left. Digital Extremes, that's Warframe, have announced their new free-to-play action MMO, Soulframe.
Isn't
That's
it
really
like
fucking funny.
medieval setting or something?
Yes, it seems like this will be like their version of
What?
like their version of like Godfall, like a melee one instead of a shooter one.
What the fuck do you mean it's medieval? Fucking Warframe.
It's more fantasy. It's more like fantasy. Like you put on like the World of Warcraft cyber fantasy armor instead of sci-fi armor.
All right.
I'm excited. That could be neat.
They also announced an entirely different thing.
They did, yeah.
Oh.
They partnered with Airship Syndicate, who are the developers of Darkside Genesis. They announced a free-to-play online fantasy game that does not have anything yet. I assume it's going to be a Genshin Impact clone. Like it'll be in that, because they describe it as a brand new original world where adventure with friends is the name of the game, and it's specifically supposed to be an online third-person character-based fantasy action game. So I imagine it will be something in the vein of, hey, this is the most profitable game on the planet right now. Let's do something sort of like it. Plus that's kind of the vibe the art gave.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm excited to see what they do. Maybe somewhere in one of these Dark Sector 2 will be lurking.
They're so successful now, they can finally take the plunge.
So I go look up headlines for Soulframe. And what I see from WCCF Tech, the people who I literally only know of because of their terrible launch year coverage of the consoles, where their brains stopped working and math became impossible. Their headline reads, Soulframe isn't a Soulsborne. And trailer featured in Game Center. Yes.
It sucks so bad that if your game has soul in the name, now you have to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, people should really avoid doing it. I'm looking at you, Solstice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I expected that. I expected that to be like that's what I thought Young Souls was, and why I didn't want to try it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a cursed word.
It's a cursed word. It's literally a word that has so much baggage, you have to be careful and make sure you're doing that exact thing if you use it.
Got a new game. It's called Soul Souls.
Oh, what's it about?
Dark Souls.
Oh, okay then.
Souls.
It's a procedurally generated roguelike where you sit at a torch and save your progress and use your souls to upgrade your crystals. And then I start foaming at the mouth.
What else do we got, KZ?
No More Heroes 3 is leaving early access on October 11th in North America, October 14th for the Europe. Coming
That's
to
great.
all the other consoles.
I've been really excited for them to finally release this game.
yeah, I know. The early access period was a bit long, but it's going to be leaving soon. They showed footage of it running at 60 frames a second, and it scared me. Looked fake.
Great.
Yeah.
That would do it.
God.
I'm genuinely excited. I would have pre-ordered a nice edition, but we're moving,
right?
So that'll get complicated.
Yeah, you don't want to figure out how that's gonna work. It's always a mess. I also agree with the one blurb I saw in chat of now it's your turn, Shin Megami Tensei 5. And I'm like, yes, please, it is now your turn.
Please,
we can hope.
Please,
I will plat your game. And my last piece of news, Yakuza 8 got confirmed through them doing a video with a Japanese fighter who walked into their studio and they said, "Do you want to be in the game?" And he said, "Yes."
Yeah, they do that. Like there was a bunch of New Japan Pro Wrestling guys in Yakuza 6.
So he's like an MMA guy or something?
Yeah, he's an MMA guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny because
something like that.
It's funny because the Yakuza team does something so different from every other developer, where it's like the Dragon Age 2 DLC with fucking Felicia Day, where it's just entirely up her ass. The Yakuza team is like, here's these guys from New Japan Pro Wrestling. They're fucking dipshits. You want to beat the shit out of them? And then you do.
Maybe I do.
Mm-hmm. They promise there's going to be a new city you'll be exploring in this one. It's still going to have Ichiban in it from 7. I'm
Cool.
excited for formal announcements. They also said that they have another game that's already being developed too.
Neat.
So,
I misread your bullet here and read New York City.
New York City.
that would be really funny. It's like,
It would be funny
why
if
is
it's
it
like
only Japanese people here still?
it would be funny if it was like, here's 3 blocks of New York City. None of the landmarks that you associate with New York City are on these 3 blocks,
Right.
but it's really accurate to the 3 blocks we picked.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's it for KZ's news. Hey, Bob,
Hey.
you got some news?
Okay, this week, Platinum Games made a huge deal out of this. They were like, this is Platinum Games Reborn.
Reborn.
So that's why I actually wrote anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
They acted like this would be huge.
Uh-huh.
They're hiring on Takao Yamane, who is from Nintendo. He worked with European departments. He was vice president of Nintendo France. Apparently, he's a big deal.
Okay.
He's coming over there to lead their publishing division, and they're going to get into publishing both like in Japan and worldwide, which is something they've been talking about for over a year now.
Weird. Okay.
So I guess this is how they plan to do it.
All right.
Other than that, we really didn't get much. We didn't get an idea of like what his plan is for this, other than this will happen.
Mm-hmm.
They gave out a tiny little more extra details of Project GG is still being worked on. That's Kamiya's big
Kaiju thing, right?
yeah, Ultraman kaiju stuff,
Yeah.
and that's apparently going to be big and important.
Okay.
This Shiba Inu they showed in the trailer will be in the game. They wanted to confirm that.
That's good.
They're working on more in-house IPs, and they have stuff for other publishers.
Okay.
Their aim is to have 1,000 employees like by the end of the year or so. So they're really scaling up.
Year?
I guess they didn't give an exact time frame for it. So their aim is to have 1,000 employees. I don't know how long it's going to be.
Okay.
Yeah, because they only have 299 right now. I don't think they're going to triple in the next 5 months.
Wow. So they're really building up. They did mention Tencent is what's going to let them do some of this because Tencent took that big investment in them. But allegedly Tencent's staying out of like development and everything. They literally like, okay, they tell us the trends that are going on in the market, but we don't have to listen. We don't have to actually adjust our games depending on them.
Yeah, they're in a bunch of shit, and I haven't seen any particular like this is obviously the Tencent touch.
Yeah, but
Fucking Tencent guy just looks like Dick Masterson comes in an aviators. He's like, turns out the market isn't interested in shit. And then he just leaves. They're like, thanks, guy.
there's no mention of Babylon's Fall.
Of course.
Okay, that's smart.
Yes.
It's smart to not bring that up.
But hey, there also is no mention of service games or anything like that in this interview. So
I'm
hopefully they
willing
got
to
the idea.
bet that the leadership shakeup and how Babylon's Fall did hopefully cured them of the delusion that they have a future in that genre.
I really hope so. And again, this guy's from Nintendo. Nintendo historically hasn't followed those awful trends.
Right.
So
True.
hopefully
Yeah.
this is good.
Yeah. I ended up getting this news in the most awkward way possible. Where
Okay.
I missed the VGC report, so I just saw like the new reset era thread on it, and it may have been the dumbest I've seen them be in a while.
Oh god.
Opening line:
part.
It appears Platinum Games is about to be bought by Nintendo, or to work exclusively for them. If we read between the lines of the report,
What?
because a Nintendo guy is joining their staff,
my god.
and then everyone's like, "Are you a fucking idiot?"
If Nintendo was buying them, they wouldn't have their own executives anymore. They wouldn't need to.
Yeah, I know.
Hire-
It's
Yeah.
really funny how people are like, no one can be free.
Use
We
your
must all
fucking
put them in
brains.
chains.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. And I didn't write it in here, but there are rumors going around of them working with Microsoft for another game.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if there's anyone.
I feel like Microsoft might be interested in an apology game.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
finishing that game, because you know
Yeah.
that there's assets sitting around. And last year, Kami was like, "Hey, we should work together and do this publicly." So
Maybe.
who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I see somebody in chat saying the nice part about Nintendo being so behind on trends is they likely have no idea what an NFT is. Huh. Hey, Bob, is that a good transition to any...
I guess we can do that one next. Sure.
I'm crowdsourcing transitions.
Oh, okay.
So Square Enix is teaming up with Engine. That's ENGJIN.
Engine.
For FF7 NFTs. You know,
Wait, plural?
yes.
They're doing more than Cloud?
They're doing more. Well, they're doing multiple clouds.
Right, because it's an NFT. They aren't fungibles.
Yes. So
Yeah.
we got
Fungibles, my favorite snack that my mom let me have.
the way this works is insane.
Okay, yeah, you were in the corner trying to describe this last night as I'm doing shit over here, working on thumbnails and things, and it sounds like you just opened the Necronomicon and started just speaking in fucking tongues. What the hell is the situation?
They are releasing Play Archives figures as they frequently do
Yes.
for the Final Fantasy VII anniversary.
Yes.
There is Cloud, regular, and Cloud in dress.
Okay.
Uh,
I was like, is Cloud regular what we're calling Cloud now, and then Cloud NFT is Cloud non-Cloud regular? Okay, okay.
When you buy one, you get the NFT that verifies your ownership. Let me see. Proof of authenticity for your original purchase of the figure. That's how they phrase it. You get the NFT that's that. Or you can spend an extra $30, which brings it to $160.
Okay.
And you get that NFT, but you also get the ability to look at it in some sort of digital format. I have no idea how. They say you can look at it on your smartphone or your PC. And that's also an NFT. But it might be the same NFT, but that's unclear too.
But wait, the point of an NFT is that I should be able to see it because it should be on the blockchain. I should be able to see it on the Ethereum chain as being. So what's the difference? How am I seeing it for 30 more?
Well, they've actually got something that you can look at, whereas the other one's like a certificate.
Like an image?
It's unclear. It could be a 3D model. It could be an image. I don't know. You're getting it, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so. Thanks, Bob.
Gun. All right.
But guys, this is okay. It's okay to have this in your game that's ostensibly about
Saving the planet.
saving the planet. Even though that's reduced so much in the remake.
I've seen some insane shit on Twitter from people whose brains don't work where they're like, well, yeah, Cloud was only in it for the money, so it actually works. And I'm like, did you not beat the game? Did you not pay attention?
But Engine alleges that they provide eco-friendly NFTs
What does that mean?
that will be carbon neutral by 2030.
What does that mean?
Well, yeah,
Let's
they will
go,
be carbon neutral by 2030 because they won't exist then.
Right,
no,
Engine
right?
has its own cryptocurrency called Engine Coin.
Oh.
It was worth $3 at the start of this year and is currently worth 45 cents. So,
Shock.
I think that Square Enix signed the paperwork on this about 8 months ago and is really wishing they hadn't. Because they did come out and say we don't want to do NFTs fairly recently, and then this happened. So I'm willing to bet it's like we signed the fucking
People lock down those contracts in little time between.
Yes, and
But they had to make the
flash in
figure.
pan.
They had to make, they locked down those contracts, and this is a figure, so it obviously would have been set up way sooner than just a digital thing.
'Cause
Like,
this
way
would have-
earlier than just a digital thing.
This might have happened during the same time frame that we got
The Konami.
KG lockdown.
Because that
In fact,
and the
let me
Castlevania
look.
NFTs
Let
happened.
me
Yeah.
look more specifically here. Let's see. It very rapidly in the span of about a couple months, tripled in value and peaked at over $5
Oh wow.
Wow.
in last November. So I'm willing to bet that somewhere around there is when this deal was made.
They had to add an entire section to their website on each of these store pages that explains what this is and how the bottom bullet on this list is it might not exist and who cares. That's not on us.
Yeah, that's on the Square Enix site.
Yeah, it's literally like this could just disappear at any second.
That really sounds like it's so funny. I can't even be mad at NFT stuff anymore because it's just a company being like, please, we signed this 8 months ago when we got tricked into thinking it was a real thing. Please stop hitting us. And I'm like, okay, I won't hit you because it's over. Like, NFTs aren't a thing and will never be a thing. Most of the people have already gone bankrupt.
Yeah, we'll have to see how many deals they signed already. How many more figures are going to have this?
Yeah,
because this is pretty gross.
I assume all the ones in this wave.
It's really funny because it's like when fidget spinners were a thing, but fidget spinners are in fact burning the planet, and everyone's just like, I only got into it for a little. Everyone else was doing it. Fucking
Now, how long before somebody is like, we have NFTs on our thing, like something like this, exactly like it.
Okay.
And it's like, no, it's just a digital certificate of authenticity that is not connected to the blockchain at all, and they just use the term NFT wrong.
I'm sure that's liable to happen eventually. I thought Ubisoft would make that pivot, but they just shut that whole thing down first.
Yeah, and the word NFT is such poison. I don't think we'll get that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not something people want to be associated with anymore. Except Tomonobu Igaki, I guess.
Yeah, Tomonobu's big fan. Big fan.
Minute too late, man.
That man's a decade late.
Yeah.
It's so weird. He had the dev team take over his Twitter account to talk to people, and it's like, it literally says it's the dev team and not him, and then they have to reconfirm this is not his personal account. It's very strange.
Okay.
Over.
All right. All right.
I have one more piece of really light news.
Okay.
The SD Gundam Battle Alliance game we saw during E3.
Yes.
Or E3 time zone.
The Overwatch-like?
No, not the Overwatch-like.
Okay.
This is the SD Gundam one where it's an action RPG.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's getting a demo tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
Saves will transfer. They announced the season pass, and they also announced an insane premium sound pack, which has dozens of songs from throughout the different series.
But is it going to have the weird replacement intro theme for Zeta that I'm used to because I'm in America?
I don't know. I doubt it.
That was a good song.
It was a good song, but we do get just communication.
Okay, well, that's fine. I'm fine.
I have no idea how much this is going to cost. It's probably going to be very expensive.
Probably. Almost definitely.
Yeah.
But
I went hard on, I think it was the PS4 Gundam versus where they rebooted it and had no content. But I did buy the expensive version that had all the anime songs. It felt worth it at the time, but it was not, because that was like $100.
Yeah. Honestly, like that buying the more expensive version with the real music needs to come over here to the States. Maybe that would have solved the Sonic Origins problem.
I mean, at least they're doing it with this, because this is the English stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they announced it in an English trailer.
Well, a couple games have done it. Actually, I think they're all Namco games.
Probably.
Yeah, like Dragon Ball FighterZ has that anime pack and stuff. They've started getting better at giving that as an option for the West.
So I guess that demo's popping out on July 28th.
Oh, I guess they
Pacific time and Eastern 29th, because it's going to be close enough to midnight, I suppose.
Okay. Yeah, I guess the things got updated because the website said July 22nd.
Yeah, the tweet went out 7 hours ago while we were busy setting up for podcast.
Okay.
So, but that's pretty cool. And the game itself comes out in August.
That's neat.
August 25th.
Very excited to see how that goes. I want to try this out. It has its own story mode where all the universes are connecting and you're trying to fix it.
Good. I really like that part of Warriors.
I wish that they were dubbing it,
but
God, they're not.
God damn it. Let's just keep.
I did see them recreate the part where Zetagum's like 4, no, and then gets stomped.
Good. That's important. That's really important. Is that it for news?
That is it for news.
That is it for news. And everyone who made it to the end of the live stream version of this, you get a treat. So, of course, we already announced this on Twitter. Tomorrow, Bob and I am playing Tom Goes to Narrative Death Streams. That's right. We're gonna find out whatever this game is behind us in this thumbnail. We're still not sure, but apparently people from Quantic Dream helped on it. And exclusive premiere live on this stream next month. Don't forget, Gears Month.
Oh no!
Be excited for August.
What the fuck?
Why are you both Marcus Phoenix?
My neck is
Okay,
so
I gotta be
tight.
Bob is unrecognizable in this thumbnail.
Man, we're so fucking shredded and strong. I'm so excited for August.
Rib killer.
Like, seriously, it looks like these are your mugshots.
We're gonna kill you if you don't show up to August.
I am just now noticing the fucking Funko.
It's real good. He's hiding in the darkness. But yeah, so we will in fact be playing the Tom Goes to Narrative game tomorrow, and Congress is very soon. We're very excited, as you can see. We had to learn how to do a do-rag for this thumbnail.
Yeah, so we looked at the YouTube video for this.
This was
Oh
important.
my god! I've been so excited for this month ever since we were talking about it. I think during Jack 3 and Jack X, where Bob's just like, "Yeah, Gears gameplay is all right, but the stories are cringe."
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna hit 3 and it's gonna be free fall from there.
I think it's funny to note those do-rags are the Tenchu 4 pre-order bonus.
The soul of GigaBoots.
This thumbnail was made by Justice Zag. It is really fucking good. He's really amazing at this.
Really good lighting.
Oh yeah, no, that's some good stuff.
Holy shit, dude.
But and also this Saturday we're going to be playing Stray for Catterday. I'm very excited for that.
Nice. I need to get on that as well.
Hey Bob,
Hey.
rats off to you.
Oh, wow.
With that out of the way, hey KZ, what are you up to in the coming week?
All right. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing Klonoa 1 and 2 on a stream.
Mm-hmm.
I've not played them. I'm ready to be excited for it because half of my friend group loves this series. I'm excited to see what they're cooking over there.
Excited to get swept by Klonoa.
Yes, and then the Death March begins, where I will attempt to beat all of Live Alive before Xenoblade comes out in 8 days.
Oh my god. Well,
So wait, when's Live Alive come out?
Tomorrow. It comes out in 30 minutes.
well.
That seems doable.
Yeah, I've people who have played it said, don't worry, every story is about 4 hours.
Yeah, I think that should be fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna blitz it, and then we're going into the Xenoblade 3 dimension, where I just keep going. I just stream it every day until my body falls out.
Nice.
Yep. So really excited. Some big stuff. I need to get through that because next month Soul Hackers comes out. So and I'm also interested in Digimon Survive, which launches on top of Xenoblade 3. So I have a lot to go through over the coming months.
Wow.
Yeah, this is why when that Stranger of Paradise DLC was like that, I was pissed.
Okay. Hey, Phil, what do you got going on?
I am going to be continuing the Nirvana initiative. I'm excited to see the resolution of anything in this story, because right now I don't see how any of this shit happened. I'm sure there will be at least one thing where I get really mad at him.
Oh yeah, I'm so pumped.
There was something that I've already forgotten where I got mad at him in the most recent stream.
I can't even remember all the reasons I'm pissed at you.
But luckily, he has cured most of his most terrible tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So there's no longer stuff that drives me insane. Like you're a cop in these games. You're a police officer. In AI The Somnium Files 1, there is a section where you defeat like 24 armed assailants who attack you on a public road, and then you just leave and tell no one.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny.
And that kind of thing drives me up a wall. But luckily, this game it's been much better about, like, those guys attacked us. We should tell somebody. We should call for backup before we go into this place. Stuff. So there's not a lot of times where it's like you have a phone literally inside your head. It's literally in your eye socket.
I don't want to use it though. I get anxiety when I use my iPhone.
Yeah, so they've luckily avoided stuff like that. I'm really hoping this is teeny tiny spoilers for a very small amount of the game. I'm really hoping they reveal Ryuki lives in his car, because we haven't seen his house, but he has this limo. He has a self-driving limo. Well, the AI drives it.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw the main character of one's Date's house pretty immediately in that game. And throughout the whole, even though days pass, we have not seen where this motherfucker lives. So I am really hoping it just drops like, no, he lives in that car.
He is a well-adjusted person who has shown no evidence of mental illness.
He is so fucking mentally ill.
That's great. That's how I like my protags.
Yeah, you learn that in the first 30 minutes. It's pretty rough.
It's this thing that's really great, and I've noticed a lot of things doing it now, where it's like, this character's mentally ill. We're going to poke fun at these relatable parts of it, and be like, oh, actually, it's a real fucking problem.
They're so likable, and they feel just like you. Also, they're deeply troubled, and this is serious. Oh.
And then you go, he's just like me.
Yeah.
What kind of jacket should I buy for this one?
Straight.
Well, that's going to do it for Big Think this week. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. I would like to note Math GSS in chat who goes, is that why Dan shaved? Yes, that is why Dan shaved for the Gears picture.
Oh my god.
Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. Big Think Dimension is only possible with the support of patrons via patreon.com/gbpodcast, where you can go and find secret content. We hide it in the bushes over there at patreon.com/gbpodcast. There's a whole ass movie over there and a lot more. Thank you. This month's GigaBoots videos were brought to you by the continued support of our executive producers, such as Esme, E. Lee Broyles, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, Burning Pepsi Man, Adam Admar, Cooper Tank, and Virmvarm. Thank you very much to our executive producers, and also these gamers. If you want to support GigaBoots so we can continue the content crunch, then head on over to patreon.com/GigaBoots today.